All right.
I love that everyone's going to see that with Yakul on the stream.
Yeah, they'll be like,
who knew that they were going to see the Wookiee show tonight?
Exactly, yeah.
Yakul's a Wookiee?
Chewbacca,
what a Wookiee!
All right. See if I can do the things. I don't
all
know
of
if
them?
I can.
All of the
Try
things
that.
at the same time?
No, I want to
The
back
multiple
here.
things. The
and
multiple
try
thing
this.
verse.
Nope.
Nope.
That's not it. There we go.
No.
One extra click. One extra click and we got there. Just took a little minute to figure it all out. Hello, everyone. Welcome, archaeologists. It's Sunday night, and that means it's time for the Weekly Dig. For anyone new to the stream, this is a live show. We dig into anime, old and new. I am Brent. These are my fabulous co-hosts, John.
Konbanwa, Mina.
And Steve.
Hello.
We will start our dig tonight. And yes, we're going to partake a little bit tonight. Nothing to do with the show. I'm just kind of getting some stuff ready here. Yes. Let us start tonight by talking about episodes 7 through 9 of Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team. As always, spoilers lie ahead. And this is notable because, for a number of reasons. One, because this is where the show transitioned from its original director to its the director for episode 7. So the original director of episodes 1 through 6 sadly passed away from a car crash.
I did not know. I knew he had died, but I did not.
Yes, he had a car crash. It came out afterwards that he liked to drink.
Oh dear.
Jeez.
I mean, I like to drink, but you know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of water.
Yeah. So might have been a factor, possibly. So everyone, don't do that.
Yes. Please don't.
Please
we
don't
like you. We like you. We like you being here with us. So
yeah.
Please don't.
Exactly. Not a good thing. So the director who took over, I knew because he directed something I love a lot, Mighty Space Miners.
Ooh, okay.
Which is a lovely hard science fiction series, which sadly ends in episode 2 of like 3 or 4. Yeah. I found out this week why.
Why? Because I enjoyed it once you had recommended. I was like watching. I'm like, oh, this is good.
This is what he did immediately after. I think he was literally pulled off of Mighty Space Miners to rescue 8th MS team.
So it killed Space Miners?
It basically killed Mighty Space Miners, yeah.
Damn it. Wow. Can't you have both? I want to live in a world where we have both.
Exactly. You know, come on. Why not? But no, sadly not to be.
Well, now that this much time has passed, now it's time to revisit Mighty Space Miners.
Yeah, there we go.
Finish it up. Come on.
Except that the new director passed away in 2010. But anyway...
well, thanks for raining on my parade.
Maybe John, guys, I'm going to sit in the corner now.
Exactly. But let's talk about 8th MS team. So we've got some stuff to talk about here because there's some coolness here
Yes.
And it definitely feels like that point where things start to shift rather for the OVA. I don't know about you all, but I felt like really up to episode 6 was kind of building.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And now we're really starting to execute on that building.
And I still have a hard time like feeling OVA
Mm.
because there's 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of fleshing out to be done. And I'm still stuck mentally in the OVA being like, oh, there's only 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, whenever we talk about this, the MS-08 team, it's like, I just don't feel it feels like an OVA. It feels like a season. It's a season.
Yeah.
Like,
it would have felt so weird. And the odd thing about that is like this took a while to come out.
Yeah.
So it's weird thinking back to, and I'm pulling it up now. Whoops, that's the wrong link. January 96 to July of 1999.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's how long it took.
Wow. Damn.
And again, I think that is partly so. It's January 96. They did 2 episodes. Same day. March for episodes 3 and 4. Then October for 5. December for 6. Then October the next year for 7. December.
Holy.
February, July. Yeah. So
yeah.
Wow.
There was somebody in the Gundam franchise who said, I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting it go.
Yeah.
We're going to finish this.
If we just turn the tap on, just one drip at a time, it'll keep people thirsting for more. Like,
exactly.
I think at some point I would have screamed and been like, ah! Now, damn it.
So yeah, it took something like 8 months between episode 6 and episode 7.
Oof.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
But then they started coming out, October, December, February. So that not too bad.
Still.
Yeah. Rough stuff. To give you an idea, July 25th, 1998 for episode 10, first parter. April of 1999 for the second part of that 2-parter.
Oof. Oof.
So again, like 10 months to get the resolution on that storyline.
Which again, for Gundam hardcore fans, that was nothing for waiting. But
sure,
modern fans might be a little hard to take.
Little difficult.
Just saying.
Yeah. So here is the this is the famous bathhouse in the Andes episode.
Yes.
And I do like the kind of the structure of this episode because we cut back to kind of what's going on with Zeon, but then we kind of smash cut from there into like what was happening at the end of the last episode.
Aina getting naked? I mean, yes.
Not yet. Not yet.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because at the end of the last episode, we saw them in the desert. Shiro was grappling Aina's suit, and we just kind of stopped there. So we get to see what happened as a result of that, which was not good for either of them. It turns out. And I did kind of really like the concept of this, that Aina does a really smart thing. She goes really high and out of the way, where like he's going to be out of the range of any of the mobile suits. A good sort of hiding spot. But then the her own mobile armor starts to malfunction.
Yeah.
And
I also like the fact that we go from the desert. That's the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so it gives you a good appreciation if you like really dial into it. It's like, okay, so we've probably gone from like the deserts of like Tunisia to like this thing's moving fast.
Yep.
This is not like, we're just up this like, by Kilimanjaro. There's just a little off of it. No, they've traveled like a significant distance to get to like the Andes or the Alps, not the Andes. Yeah. That'd be a hell of a trip. You know what I mean? So it's like you get this concept of like, this thing is not just giant, it's also really much faster than you anticipate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And Shiro's obviously much more tenacious, hanging on for dear life on this thing.
I mean, when he crawls out of the cockpit and he's just like, okay, I'm going to climb up the top. I'm like, wait, you're 30,000 feet up. You're 30,000 feet up. Like I would so be inside the cockpit going, nope. We're landing before I come out of this.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
And he's very safe. He goes in and tethers himself to the mobile suit that's hanging on the outside of the ship. So, he's anchored. And if it dislodges, he's totally screwed. But safety first, right? Safety first.
Yeah, like we said, it's one of those things where you think, well, what else do you do?
Yeah.
Make some forward progress.
Yeah. Almost falling off, but forward progress. That's the thing.
And it's actually a good example of kind of Shiro's general personality, where it's like, okay, I'm in the situation. What do I do?
Yeah.
He's very pragmatic to, all right, I don't care how bad it is. I got to figure out some way moving forward.
And I enjoy the fact that as he is crawling up the side of this monster machine with apparently like slick soled shoes, but regardless, he at one point there's a foreshadowing moment where he grabs onto an aperture and he goes, "Oh, anti-personnel device."
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And the pilot's not using it. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Like, that's a foreshadowing of like, so Zaku's have an anti-personnel device. Okay, gotcha. Okay, this is something we should probably pay attention to going forward.
But when you stop and think about it, that kind of makes sense. When you're talking about terrestrial, like when you bring the Zaku's out of space and you bring them to Earth or inside of a side, and you want that anti-personnel because literally what's one of the things that the guerrillas are really effective at? Oh, we're just going to jump on the shoulder of your thing, and then we're just going to lob grenades at you until you go away, and then we're just going to jump off. And,
Kiki with Shiro when she's like looking in his viewfinder, she's literally like sitting on the cockpit hood looking at him. And it's like, okay, you've got this is an issue that certainly if we talked about World War II things that are referenced in the show,
right?
One of the things World War II that you have a coaxial machine gun or a bow machine gun is not only to defend against infantry that are like coming at the tank, but also to do things like follow behind a tank in front of you and spray it down because the machine gun doesn't do any damage to the tank in front of you, but it stops infantry crawling on your tank.
Right.
So it's like anti-personnel devices. Same kind of concept. It's like, I don't have anybody to shoot, machine gun around, just defend me. So I'll pop these things off and do terrible damage. Terrible damage.
I just would have loved to have seen the electrified button, or the button to electrify the thing. Just like, people crawling over.
Yeah.
A bunch of people fly up.
Yeah, which I mean would be, you think about it, it's like, this is futuristic. You could electrify the shell. We've seen it in other shows where they've done that. It's like, okay, good on you, Gundam. You didn't actually go with that. That's kind of a simple out. Like you actually went with a much more pyrotechnic response. So good on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pyrotechnic. I can just imagine it now, like you're a Fetty soldier and you're climbing up a Zaku, and suddenly you hear like heavy metal music, and they're like, "Oh no, it's the pyrotechnic display."
Yeah, and that's the time when you pee your pants and run. Oh, here it comes.
Rammstein. Oh no, not the Rammstein.
No. God, it's gonna go terribly south from here.
Du hast.
Exactly.
Du hast mich gefragt. Okay, anywho, going on.
So up he goes. He reconnects with Fina. We get the lovely thing there, Ina rather. Apologies. And
she is Fina, but yes, Ina. Yes.
And again, it's one of those things where because we had episode 1, like this makes sense.
Yes.
Right.
They've been together. Like they're obviously different parts of the war, but they're in this crisis together. Okay, gotcha. Put that aside. We work together to kind of figure out what to do next. We get some lovely sort of engineering here as they're trying to get down.
And I love the continual message about sides don't really matter.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, we've got this giant machine from Xeon that's going to do all these terrible things to the landscape for the Fetties. We got a Fetty machine. You know, this could be a knockdown, drag out fight. No, the end of the day, besides your sides, they're both two human beings that have to survive. And it's like, okay, this message is like very clearly translated, like through this entire.
And it's nice that they walk away from the trope of, we will take this to the end for the greater glory of, but to your point, my side. So we're not going to do that. Both of them are just like, I would like to wake up tomorrow. So let's do the thing and just let's forget about this for a little bit. And, you know, let's just, you know, figure out how we're going to, let's figure out a way that we can get down so we can worry about that thing later on.
Well, it's nice to see from that concept how many times you see that replicated across a lot of different fandoms. You see that it immediately made me think of the time where Picard in Next Gen is with Picard at Tanagra. It's like that weird kind of episode where he doesn't know how to communicate with the opposition commander. And they both have to learn how to communicate with one another to achieve a common goal to survive.
Right.
And it's like, you know, this message of like the element of survival isn't necessarily about you being the one that survives. It's about understanding the higher element of it, where it's like everybody actually can survive, that we can come together beside our differences to make a difference, that we can make it. Like, okay, I got you. Clear message, Gundam. Thank you.
Definitely, absolutely.
And a bath scene, yes.
In a bath scene, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, not gonna complain.
Little payoff there. Thank you.
I did find that hilarious that you, like, throughout the episode you set up that, you know, okay, Shiro's, you know, exceedingly cold, like bad things are happening here, like Shiro's not going to make it. You know, this is not good. And then we establish, okay, you know, he's got frostbite. We'll come back to the dream in a second. But you know, that's bad. He's got to deal with that. How is he going to, you know, warm up his hands? And then they jury rig the mobile suit to set up the beam, beam saber. And then he gets in, you know, dials it down, puts it down, so that they make this hot water pool. We're gonna have a bath scene. That's where we're going. I gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, as far as like just gratuitous bath scenes go, at least they worked up to it in like a sort of logical element versus. You know, all of a sudden they fall into an ice cave, and oh my gosh, this is actually a dormant volcano, and here's a hot spring. Like
the towels, just right there.
Exactly.
Well,
you know,
at the very
I'll
start
give
of this,
props for that.
At the very start of this fantastical scene is Shiro sitting on top of his Gundam in the freaking mountains. You know, it's probably negative something, and he's just sitting there. He's just like, I'm just going to sit here. And it's just like, okay, no, you're gonna die. You're gonna freeze to death. I mean, come on. And then, you know, we make the hot spring, and I'm just like going, sure, why not? Why not? This is, you know, I was half expecting them to like when the first watch through of this, like when they were when he was using the sword, I was just like, okay, he's gonna clear an area.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a little habitat. Maybe she has a habitat that she can bring out, and they're just going to go in there, and that closeness, because we all know where this is going. And, you know, and I figured that they would inside the tent be like, okay, we're close quarters and we can't really, you know, just walk away, turn away from, you know, the feelings.
There's only one way to fight. That's Greco-Roman.
Right.
Wait a minute. No, hold a second here.
So, but then, you know, you have this, and it's just kind of like going, I'm like, and all we need is little Washu to come out with the sake. You're right. You know, here we go.
Yeah, I would not have blinked if she had said, I have some Xeon wine. Be like,
okay. Yeah.
Here we are.
Definitely.
So for the fan servicey point dip, at least, you know, we got some, when they were clothed, you got more intimate contact than
Yes.
when they were naked.
Mhm.
So it's a very interesting, like, thank you. You know, you kind of took the
Mhm.
high road and low road at the same time, where you get the blah, 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 while they're
Mhm.
dressed, and then while
Mhm.
you know, this is just the oh, you're naked kind of thing, and it's like
Mhm.
unnecessary. But I thank you, I appreciate
Yes.
Well, that whole little drama thing that she's going through, and talking about her life and which
Mhm.
is frustrating her, and then she does the naked stand up, in front of Shira, goes, "I'm not." What was it she say? "I'm not a
Yeah.
doll."
Yes.
And kind of a thing, and she just does this, and Shira's got the typical atypical male expression, like, "Oh, boobies."
Yeah. Well, it's funny because of the way that he said that about you're like some kind of beautiful doll, and it's just
Yeah.
like I had a feeling that exact moment. I'm like, that was the wrong
Wrong
thing
thing
to say.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but
Mhm.
that was the wrong thing to say.
That
Like,
was very
oh,
much the wrong thing to say.
yeah. But I mean, they've done a good job at setting this up to the point where you would feel that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like otherwise it'd be like, oh yeah, doll, she's cute, whatever. But
Yeah.
like you knew the minute he said it, it's like naturally to the environment that he is in, that what they've
Mhm.
built up to this point, the way that she is, you would get that sort of inkling, be like, oh crap, that's the wrong
Mhm.
thing to say, because I bet her brother has been treating her kind of like a doll this
Yep.
entire time, as like his substitute because he can't do certain things. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, and then that plays out. I'm like,
Yep.
well, hot damn.
Exactly.
That's the thing right there. I'm like, I'll be.
Mhm. Yeah. When he says, "Be my arms, be my legs." Like,
Yeah.
oh, there we are.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, you guys, in the time it took to release the entirety of this OVA, you linked things so nicely back into stuff that these sort of rando comments and her reaction makes absolutely perfect sense. And it's like, that's really cool. I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's one of the things they do in the OVA that I think is very smart. Much of the frustration of some fans is that they narrow the scope. So MacLeod basically is not in the OVA for a while.
Yeah.
And then he pops up here and there. He's kind of gone. Eldor is obviously off recovering. But like there's a lot of this OVA where we're like, no, like we have these two characters. We need to figure out what's going on with them, and we're just going to push everything else to the side while we focus on that.
Yeah, Mikhail and Bebe. Yeah.
Yeah. And we see that, really starting around like episode, that's really the episode where that really starts, where they're like, okay, we can't have these ensemble episodes anymore. It's got to kind of focus for a while.
Now, do you think that is the directorial shift? You've got one director who has gone off from the ensemble element to now somebody who's like, no, we need to sort of rope this in and do a little bit more focus on what we're doing.
It's also. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it was it kind of directorial, but I think it was probably more production. Insofar that they're trying to put this thing together over the span of 3 years, and but you're leading up. I mean, you have this ensemble picture, but you have the initial contact of these two. You're doing this thing, and then at this point, you're just like, well, if we go the other route, we're going to be going with multiple episodes before we get to that point. Do we have the time or the budget? Because we're a little over time due to tragedy and slowness, and so why don't we just do the thing that we were setting out to do at the very beginning, which is to show this relationship happening between two people from different sides, and then just having this episode of just going, okay, we're good. Here it is, bam, and we're not going to be distracted by Mikkel and his baby and Sanders, not being the Grim Reaper and Karen or whatever. Unfortunately, Elsinore is recovering somewhere, groping somebody, some poor nurse.
Probably.
Yeah. So I think we almost had to have this particular.
I think it's a combination. I think the director comes in, he's like, okay, I have a slightly different, approach to things, but also like I'm sure they were like, okay, let's introduce the characters, have them for a while, but then eventually get more focused.
What would be interesting is if we could, go back in time and actually see what the fans were saying about this.
Yeah.
And because you had this,
yeah.
you had this stopgap, and you probably had people who were going like, I don't really care about MacLeod. Okay, and Eleanor was whatever, and they took him off the, he's off the show. We don't have to. Karen and Sanders are interesting, or how whatever that worked out, and maybe did they all say just go, we want a bath scene in the Alps, and we want them naked. That's well, I mean, and more seriously, just it was this like a fan reaction. It's going, hey, give us this.
Execute on that romance.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, now that you said like what the time period is, you actually could have fielded genuine response to it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
rather than like, I'm going to, throw out a 3-episode OVA, what's the fan reaction? Oh, it's terrible. Well, this is Gundam universe. We're going to let that go. Where that story arc will go. We'll just focus on something else. Let's see what else we can do and see how the fans respond. This one, with that much time involved and the time between things, you're still very committed to the thing you're doing because of the amount of time it takes to animate. But you're right, Steve. You're going to have some kind of input coming back. So that you will have, as a director coming in to take this over, you'll have actually some data to work with to be like, well, guys, how about we've already got this stuff in the can. How about we, edit this and we do this kind of thing that we're going to focus a little bit more, zoom in a little bit more, and then sort of drop sort of the flotsam and jetsam from it.
And we know anime can have fast turnaround times. So this could be one of those things where they're like, we've done all the pre-production, all that kind of stuff, but with everything else going on, like we haven't done much actually on episode 7 yet. So we can actually pivot and shift things around as time goes on.
Yeah, that's interesting. That'll be. I would love to know that. That's. Let's get in the Wayback Machine.
Can somebody please translate all the issues of New Type from like 96 to 99?
It might be there.
There's somebody out there who can. I think I would mention the name Kira. With her proficiencies, might be able to do so. And it's a question of getting the primary resources to be able to then do it.
Yeah. We'll see. But yes, then we get this lovely, and can I just speak to the symbolism and just kind of the imagery of them standing on the stars, looking up, everything going on. Just one of the things, like, and they did it in the first half too, but I really feel like in here's where we start getting a lot more image-heavy imagery, if you will, where the shots just feel like very composed, very thoughtfully arranged in terms of what we're seeing in them and the symbolism and so forth. And it's a lovely thing as the two of them are really contemplating, why are we here? What's the future? What are we going to do? How is this going to do anything?
And I'm sure this is just my own mental problem. But in that shot where they're standing literally on the universe reflected in the ground, I couldn't help sort of notice the fact that Shiro is very earth-toned.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Aina is like, now mind you, purple in the universe is a thing, but it's the idea that it is more spacey kind of colored.
Yep.
So that, it was a neat juxtaposition is like, here you have the layout of the stars between them or under them. And here you have Earth and Xeon.
And even further, he's wearing fatigues. She's wearing a spacesuit.
Yes. Yeah, where he's freezing to death and she's like, I'm really comfortable in my spacesuit because it's used to outer space. Hey, because it's cold up there. Oh, good point.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because it reminds me of Isaac Asimov's one of the series of stories that he wrote. No.
Sorry, that was Arthur C. Clarke.
And it was had to do with the robots and the people who lived in space that kept were called spacers. So and they were light colored, lighter skin, lighter hair, that kind of stuff. and the people on Earth were, they were more Earth tone, but they stayed on Earth. They didn't leave space. And it's interesting that you bring it up. I mean, they're both interestingly from space. I mean, he's from a side,
right? Yeah,
he's actually from a side, but I guess genetics that's the way he's put in there. But it's definitely a there's a lot more juxtapositions going on here. He's not Noblesque. She is. He's soldier. She's not. She has idealism. Shiro doesn't have idealism. By the way, he has. I mean, and what I mean by that is that
but doesn't he have kind of an element of humanism?
He has a humanism, but it's not the same thing as idealism. Idealism is that's what we go to war over. He's more humanist, and that's probably what's driving him to do the thing. Is that his ultimate goal is not to win the war; it's to go through the next day to get to the next day.
Right, preserve his people, the folks that he cares about, the ones that he wants to ultimately protect.
He hates Zeon though.
Yeah.
We get that clear in that dream.
Yeah. And but for her, what I mean by idealism is more along the lines of this magical outcome that we're going to have at the end of it. And she's idealistic and just like things will be okay at the end of it. His is more pragmatic of going, things are going to be really messed up at the end of this, and it's going to be problematic. But if we can just figure this part out, then we can move forward. And one of the interesting things is that we forget that because Shiro is from the sides, he actually has more in common with her than he does with his fellow troopers, which we find in the next episode.
Right. Yeah, I by the point that we got events going on at the end of their stranding, the more I really liked Aina, and the more I got really sort of deeply unsettled at the fact that she's gonna die, isn't she? You know what I mean? Because she just seems like someone who is. Not only is she a brocon, but she's sort of developing as her brother notes. You're dressing more feminine, almost as if a woman who is in love. And it's like, are you telegraphing to me that she's going to make choices, not fighting Shiro, but in fighting this war, like we've seen Shiro deal with his own ideologies and how they affect. That he has to overcome, but how they affect his combat ability. If she makes similar mistakes, she's going to end up dying, and then it's going to be tragic, and I'm going to be like angry.
I will disagree with your use of the term mistakes.
Oh, but you're not disagreeing with the dying. Oh, come on now. Don't do this to me.
So I think at the end of this particular episode, speaking of choices, at the end of this episode, when the Fetties are coming in to grab the ship, she has no problem flipping that switch.
No, not at all.
And he does. And what I love about the end of this episode is that I don't think there is any exposition. It's just, it happened. He's horrified. She's just like, oh, I had to do the thing. She doesn't
even say, sorry, I got to do this. Click.
Please forgive me. I have to do this. She just does it because in her mind, it's just like, oh, well, I got to destroy the thing so that my brother doesn't get in trouble, whatever. And she's not thinking about the lives that are being snuffed out by the course of her actions. As a soldier, he's very well aware that every time he pulls a trigger, theoretically someone dies. He feels that keenly.
I wouldn't argue that she doesn't think about it. I think she thinks about it, but she just does it anyway.
Yeah, she's not in a debate.
Oh,
club.
she's not cold-hearted. No,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I meant.
She's not
It's
going
just-
to have a discussion with him about what is right or wrong.
Right.
She does the thing because
Well,
that's
she's
what she's a soldier
mission-oriented.
for. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's mission-oriented at that point, and it's just like, oh, this can't happen, so I gotta do the thing, because we get that wonderful 15 seconds of her setting it up.
Yep.
Which when I saw that, I thought that was going to be the first thing that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
I thought, when
she's
the first
setting
run
all
through,
that stuff up, she's putting things up. I'm like,
oh, she's gonna
okay.
blow it.
Yeah, she's gonna like set the whole thing up. She's gonna set the timer. She's gonna descend, help him out, do the thing that she's got to do, and then while he's like, "Oh my goodness, thank you for not letting me die," boom, the whole thing goes up, and he goes, "What did you do?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing. Just got rid of the thing."
Well, and I'm sure that was her plan.
You think?
I'll bet that's what she was planning on doing. Like, okay, I've got to make sure this is set up, for the future. But now, dang it, he's out there. I gotta go do something about that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, Brent. I think that that was the intent. It was just bad luck
that she got delayed.
That the Fetty ship,
the
Fetty ship actually showed up, and I think she was hoping that, like before, the Zeons would show up prior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so the immediate destruction was more the consideration for her brother. They'll come get it.
Mm-hmm.
I have this set up in case the Fetties come up.
I'm sure this was a protocol.
Yeah.
Right? If you crash, you set all this up, you prep it, and then you call for help. We will come, but just in case, everything should be switched on and armed.
She's not intending to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But once she does it,
destroy the technology.
Right. But once she does it, she's not exactly horrified.
No.
That people died, but he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The reason she has white hair.
She's cold and heartless.
Cold, exactly. Yuki Onna. No. Exactly. But that is kind of what they're setting up here. Is that Shiro has this very angry face as she's leaving. While she is standing, and obviously she's heartbroken, but she misses leaving him. She doesn't want to leave him. That's what she's feeling. He's processing all these emotions around death and war and all that kind of stuff.
About sort of like during his court martial, he's trying to
indeed
figure out how does he feel about things. How does what does the high command think of what he's done
exactly,
and how do they sort of jibe these things together for him to continue to be a command officer?
Yep,
or a command ensign.
Let's talk for a second. I need to make a point about this whole setup here of Shiro and the giant video screens of the people.
Seeley? What?
Superman?
Seeley?
The first episode of 8th MS Team aired a few months before Evangelion finished airing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So by the time this came out, Evangelion had been out for a little while. And so I think this was definitely an Evangelion reference right here.
Well, you want another weird reference, and I'm not quite sure what connection, if possible, is the big fat dude on the left. He looks exactly like the commander of the Southern Cross. So, if you think of Southern Cross as it relates to Robotech as being like the Masters series from Robotech, the Southern Cross the commander is a big fat bald dude who looks almost exactly like that. So whatever that series was that Masek incorporated into Robotech, that it's like the same dude. I don't know whether this was a time frame that people were like, yeah, big fat bald guys, that's the thing to do. I don't know.
Well, I would say he's more a reference to the big bald dude in Zeta Gundam.
And I have no idea how influences work, because Southern Cross, it's like the same guy. It's like, oh my goodness, which could be
I see the reference. I see the similarity.
It's like it just might be that was most threatening. Somebody who looks like Kingpin. Yes, let's go with that.
Sure.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But as the first thing I saw him in the uniform, it's almost the same. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh wow.
Ah, interesting.
Strange.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
definitely. And yeah, we get the scene with, you're dressing more more like a woman, but also note she's wearing black.
Yep.
Which-
Morning.
Yep. A little bit of symbolism there, just saying. And it's really interesting seeing how her brother reacts to all this. Because
Yeah.
Gineas is clearly pissed off, but also, kind of, in fairness, so to speak, he isn't screaming at her. He isn't, throwing her against the wall or anything. He's just like, okay, what have you done? Like, how have you jeopardized this? What's going on here? He's upset. I was waiting for him to go into full, abusive boyfriend mode.
Yeah. Me too. I was waiting for he can't love you like I love you. Like, oh crap. Here we go. Siscon. Brocon means Siscon. Neat.
No, please,
Wonderful.
no.
Let's not go there. Let's take the high road on this one.
But no, he's worried about this, how this jeopardizes his project.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in all fairness, thank you for taking that road.
Right. Exactly.
That his prototype, his like one of a kind machine that they're now trying to do other things to remake, his one of a kind machine has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And his pilot is his sister. So he can't go completely off the reservation screaming like shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? He's like, you could feel a lot of that internal conflict where it's like, you've jeopardized the mission.
Yep.
You've jeopardized what I'm trying to do to establish us as a family to be so important in the hierarchy of Zeon.
Yep.
But I can't go crazy because I need you to be the pilot to do the next thing. But damn, I want to punch you. Like, wow, y'all can read that really well.
So Brent, now that you said that, I didn't know the timeline between Evangelion and this. I'm thinking if you put glasses and the glare on it, and with that he's Gendo.
Absolutely.
Gendo Akari.
Definitely.
They should have just had him offer her a glass of Tang. Would you like some orange fluid? Oh God,
no.
And I mean, you certainly could say, we have a girl with short light blue hair piloting a mecha. And this very intense guy doing it. And again, I'm sure, this is in pre-production. Like, there was no crossover. Like,
right.
They couldn't have known. But it is kind of funny how things sometimes work that way.
Yeah.
Well, quite honestly, if I was on a date with Ray or Ina, I'd choose Ina because Ray, no offense to Ray, she's just like a, poster. Nice to look at, but not really very much interesting. So
yeah, I'll take some of the more fan fiction-y Rays over the quote unquote real one.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, while he's having the calm, seething rage, malt liquor
Meltdown
rage thing going on inside of him, meanwhile, when Shiro is going through his inquest, and keep in mind that this is just an inquest. It's not actually a trial per se. But
it's not a court martial yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do with him. But I think the thing that saves him is the one moment where he does his little speech.
Yeah,
and everybody laughs at him.
Yeah,
and his commanding officer goes, "Oh, Christ! Here we go," and everyone's laughing at him. And because these are, to be fair to them, the ones that are laughing at him, to be fair to them, they're commanders in a war, and they're listening to this little really young guy telling them how to do it, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And even the guys who are,
don't you understand? War is hell.
Yeah,
oh, really?
and they're like, you think that I don't know that every day when I assign that order, that I don't know that there's going to be a bunch of letters that are going to go out the day after that? You don't think I don't know that? And so, when he does that, they also realize that they go, if this is the way that he's feeling, and this is what he's doing, and he can't really answer the question of whether or not he's going to shoot somebody in the face, the enemy in the face, this guy is not going to be a spy.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to do something with him,
Sure.
or he can't just walk away from this, but we don't have to shoot him at dawn.
Right. Yeah.
We don't have to do that. We're not going to worry about that. That's no longer on the plate. This is now we just have to figure out: do we demote this guy? Do we kick him out? Do we, put him into the toilet brigade? What do we do?
Peeling potatoes forever.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So but yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Other events are conspiring that will sort of push that in a certain direction.
Yep.
This inquiry mixed with what Steve had said, was it last week or the week before? Whenever we talked about Kiki and the village, it sort of has a Vietnam feel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This inquest felt a lot like what happens when a soldier in a war has an ethical issue. When there are questions that come up that would make you stop doing a direct order because of ethical humanitarian issues.
Right.
And it's like, I started piecing that together. I'm like, this inquest is kind of interesting to the discussion that happened very much post-Vietnam. Very much in light of World War II. It's like, what are ethical commands? What are unethical commands? What is the responsibility of the on-the-ground soldier to execute an unethical command?
Right.
What do you do if you are delivered with that? The My Lai massacre in Vietnam was a question of an unethical command from a sub-commander to do a thing. And the people that did it or did not do it, what is the chain of command do about that? If you have a valid order, but you believe it is ethically wrong and you refuse to do it, is that insubordination?
Right.
Is that something that is punishable? So that we're seeing this with Shiro, where it's like, you've got situations that are going on where he has ethical questions about the things that are going on, and the difficulty, even if it's funny, about how do you proceed to punish or not punish that? Because that requires you to reflect on what you are doing and the things that you are commanding your troops to do. And that this pushback as to what is ethical and not ethical in the frame of war, it takes you into an undiscovered country where you don't, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't just immediately be like, shoot you at dawn, because maybe what you're ordering isn't right. Now you have to reflect on that. So it's interesting to get to the end of his sort of tribunal where there's no decision, because it feels like they've had a good laugh, but there's also that recognition of, the broader concept of this war isn't just strategic placements. There are other factors that are ruminating here that we have frontline troops that are coping with. We'll make a decision on what you're going to do with you later, because they themselves have to figure out where is the line in this. It's like that. So that kind of gave me that kind of feel where I'm like, wow, this feels very self-analysis post-Vietnam kind of stuff, where it's like, that would be weird for Japan to have a post-Vietnam kind of thing. But they did have a lot of
they were absolutely discussing it, no question.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of troops cycled back for R&R into Japan. So this was a thing that people were experiencing.
Well, there's also Japan's involvement.
Right.
And I mean, it was also kind of world news. So but there's plenty of discussion, regardless of their role in it too.
The ethics of war.
Yeah.
It's like, So that this whole thing kind of like gelled in my mind. I'm like, well, geez, man, wow, that's a broader concept. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that's what just sort of gelled in my mind there.
Yeah.
And then we get the
wonderful. No, I'm sorry.
Wonderful, beautiful, scenic, village, and this is where we get the beach episode is coming up here.
Not so much.
The summer beach, summer vacation beach episode here. He says sarcastically.
Yeah, this is where things go like wrong in so many different directions.
And this is the moment when for those of us for any time that you plan something, you have multiple pieces and you're worried about one particular piece and you're just please don't do not work today. And this is what happens when your prayer does not get answered.
Yeah, this is where everything goes wrong.
Yeah,
because of one guy.
And that is really kind of the theme of the whole episode, where just things go poorly.
Yeah,
for the folks in the village.
Everybody.
For everyone.
Which, in fairness, as we discussed before about the different characters involved in this, the problem child to this experience for the Zaku suits, a good commander should have left him on duty outside the village.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you knew this thing was going to be an issue at some point, and this is a failure to acknowledge the problems in your command unit. You know,
Yeah. I don't know that I can fault her too much for that. Given everything else going on.
Yeah. Well,
but she knew he was a problem.
But
there's starvation. So many other problems they have.
But you need a rear guard, somebody who could have been like, you face that direction and we'll get food and we'll bring it back. You stay there. You're the issue child.
Where he stomps on somebody because he's not under their direct supervision.
Yeah, he's just
so here we have a troop of Zeon that if you look at their Zakus, they're beat up.
Yeah,
their shields are pockmarked. Everything is beat up on these guys, and they have the discussion of we're lost. And remember, they just lost Odessa, and they're not communicating with any command. They have no command to communicate to. Things are falling apart on their side. They're just trying to get through to the place where they're just like, it's like the last train to Clarksville. You're trying to get to the one place to get the hell out, and that's literally what they're doing. They're running away. And that's and so in doing this, they're just part of it is that they have no food, they have no rations. This is all they got is their Zakus, and they're going onto this village, and it's like, okay, we'll just get the food and move on. There's no talk about we're gonna take the village. There's no talk of this strategic. But not in the broader sense of the Zeon strategic. We need to have
it's
this
not a strategic strike.
This is we're gonna show up here. We're gonna ask for the food. We're gonna get fed, and then we're gonna move on because somewhere's gonna be the shit that we need to be on to get the hell out of here. But they're lost. I mean, they have no idea where they are really. And so in manner of speaking, but when they come in, so you have this guy who's kind of just frayed at the nerves, and he's a jerk. And where do you put him? I mean, you can't. You need all hands
rear
on
guard
deck.
in the river.
But
they're his cannon. He can do all sorts of dumb things there.
Yeah, just
because he can bring down. He can take a pop shot at a Fetty jet and bring down the entire Fetty force on top of him. She has to have this guy near her. She's micromanaging is basically what she's doing. She wants this guy next to him so that she can turn around and say to him directly, stop it. And she doesn't want to be far enough away where she can't be there to have her presence. Because remember, when he does the thing, who is not there? She.
And we've also, and I'm not defending her, by the way. I agree with you, John, that is, a logical course of action. But at work, if you ever had the one person on your team who's kind of an idiot, what does the boss do? They don't send them far away to kind of do somewhere else. Like, no, you here so I can watch you and tell you what you're doing wrong. And I think that's what she's trying to do. She wants to keep him under her eyes the entire time. And again, I don't think it was the right choice, but I think that's where she was coming from.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't correct stupid. You know,
Right.
She
You
she
can't
she
fix
was
stupid.
she was
Exactly.
making the best decision in a not great scenario, and
Yeah.
it just turned out his idiocy was so grand, so great that there was no way any human, one way or the other, could overcome it.
Yep,
No,
exactly.
that's true. Yeah.
And again, and we talked about this earlier. I just so appreciate the editing and the pacing on all of this.
Yeah.
Where Kiki goes to give him his food, he grabs her, obviously just kind of for spite, just to do it, not for spite, but just because he wants to.
Machismo.
Machismo.
Look
exactly.
how powerful I am. Look
Well,
how powerful
he
we are in
sits there
our
and goes-
Zakus.
He's just like, well, she's a little young, but I can play around.
Mm-hmm.
He does the thing, and it's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. And again, the other Zaku draws on him.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I will take you out. She's like, and we have that bit of dialogue where he's like, you're not going to shoot me. And she goes, try me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, darn, you died in battle.
Yeah, and I appreciate the way that they have done this fairly consistently through the OVA, where you have, it's not just Aina who's like, wow, we can be cooperative, we can be both people, and we don't have to be sides. But we get to see these kinds of things where it's like, here's a commander who's like, listen, you are out of line, and I will do the ultimate thing that I must do to fix this, including killing you. Or it's like, okay, so Zeon's not just a bunch of robot soldiers who just like abusing human, the Earth.
You're right.
That they have their own complex, as we've seen from Ina's brother. They have their own complex issues. We watch the whole dinner party scene. There's a lot of things at play in this that aren't just so simple as like, oh, Zeon's always like a robotic follow orders, and Earthlings are always like these heroic. The Fedis are always the heroic, like humanistic ones. It's like, no. This is far more complex than that.
Yeah. So I just really love the editing here of where he then flings Kiki.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, you jerk. And he goes, I'm going to see if I can find it here. Oh, very much a Hiro Yui shot here, actually.
Yeah, flings from like 30 feet in the air, which is what, 1d4 damage for every 10 feet, and the average
1d6 in modern editions.
1d. Oh god, 1d6 when most like average people have like 3 hit points. Dude, that's a significant like violent act.
So yeah, let's go ahead and minimize this and talk about D&D.
Hey, sometimes that's the only way you can understand fall damage.
So. Yeah, this but to your point, John, is the one Zeon guy who has the picture of his kid.
Well, can I finish this thought here, please?
Sorry.
I just love the editing here of like he gets, he throws her, and then we smash cut to the villager with the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Just standing there. And we cut back to the guy, and he's like, I know it's going to happen.
Yep.
I just screwed up.
Yep. And that's it. He's done.
Now, do you feel like when you watch that scene, do you feel like he was going to try to talk his way out of it? Do you feel like that he was like, crap, I'm going to die unless I do something, but he just doesn't get a chance?
I don't think so. No,
I
don't think his brain was that powerful.
Yeah. I think it was literally, screw this chick. Oh crap! And that was it. There was like nothing in between those two moments.
And I love the visuals, the visual imagery of we do not see him die.
Yeah.
It becomes this very almost abstract thing of we watch the rocket go in, we watch the explosion. It's very clear he did not survive.
Yeah.
But the fact that they make it objective, I think really adds to the power of the moment.
And I enjoy the fact that it gives you such a sense of the size of Zaku.
Yeah.
because you see that rocket go in, and like as it goes up, when you see him firing it, it's like, oh yeah, this is a RPG-7. It's a fairly big system, and here you're firing it, and it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it goes up in, and it's like, oh,
it takes like 4 seconds for that to hit.
Yeah.
Well, it gives you a good appreciation. It's like, wow, this is why the shield is damaged and dinged up.
Yeah.
This thing, if that door hadn't been open, he would have shrugged it off.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, splat, little villager. What are you doing? It's like, no, it's just such a small explosive, and it's the human operator that is the greatest weakness. And his door is open because he's an idiot. And I'm like,
and to that point, sort of tactically, because the villagers are raring for a fight.
Yeah.
Like they want to take these guys down. What's just happened, the guy's made himself vulnerable.
Yep.
The villager's like, okay, I'm going to take the opportunity now and take him out. And we talked before about kind of the escalation of in the 8th MS team. Somebody does something and it leads to a thing, and that's very much what's happening here.
Which I would have thought they would have poisoned their food, or like, put some kind of sleep medication, or what I mean, something like that in their food, something that would have like incapacitated them, and then they would have been like, "Yay, we have 3 Zaku's, neat." Like,
I guess you might worry that they could report it back somehow. I have a poison. Click. Calling it a strike, something like that. I don't know. Maybe.
Or it just wouldn't work, which is
which
happens where someone just gets violently ill and everyone just goes, wait a minute, I'm having cramps too. What did you guys do? My finger still works.
Well, this is where you invite them down to a village party to celebrate their arrival, and then you feed them magic mushrooms and then you kill them when they're sleeping.
But that's
a whole different story.
But this is a great point where you see that rocket go in there. And it blows up inside. You don't have to see the guy actually dying. He's dead. He's just meat. He's just meat in there now. And it blows up, and your first response is like, yes, And then you have the various reactions throughout, everybody. You have the Xeon Commander's reaction. You have the 8th team reaction. You have the villagers' reaction, and you see that the people who know what they're doing are all going, realizing everything has gone out the window.
Yep.
Everything. There is no contingency plan. There's nothing. Everything is out the window. Crap. What do we do? And then
Kiki's dad is like, "Oh, what did that fool do?"
Right? Yeah. And that's just unfortunately that's combat, but that's the way it is. But every single leadership position had the same response, which is like, we're in it now, and here's the reaction. I was like, well, the initial reaction is, oh crap, everything went out the window. The second reaction was, we're in it.
Yep.
It's go time.
Exactly. Yep.
0 to 100. Here we are.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I appreciate again is the Xeon Commander is like, okay, we're out.
Yeah.
We are getting out of here now as quickly as possible. This is there's no point staying around here with whatever they've got. Let's go. And that doesn't work out very well.
No.
Because what happens, the folks in the mansion try to take him out, which works.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Takes out the mansion with Kiki's father in it and kind of their headquarters. And again, talking what you guys are talking about, the foreshadowing, and when they're talking, we can't let them know this is our base.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. They mentioned earlier, like, well, your base is now destroyed.
Yeah.
Whether they knew about it or not, however important this was, it's gone.
Well, and it's also one of these things. You figure that the mansion with Kiki's dad, he's not mobile enough, and his right hand man, that tow missile launcher, is not a mobile weapon.
No.
So they're committing to the age old idea of the sacrifice of the one is for the good of the many. You know what I mean? It's like at best they were going to get a response if they killed that one mobile suit. They were going to get a response that they could not escape from the other surviving mobile suit. Yeah. So this was like the ultimate Hail Mary play, where it's like, okay, fire it off, and we got to kill, but we're going to die in this process, and that's going to save many more people.
Yep.
We hope, which it doesn't.
Yeah, well, no, it does. There are people who survive. People survive. People make it. Like,
you also got to appreciate how they get across the weight of the Zaku's.
Yeah.
Because like when the first Zaku goes down, there's that moment where like, you know, it hits, fire goes out, the chest explodes, and then it just kind of, you know, topples like a felled oak down. The rocket hits kind of the jetpack on this. It comes down and it kind of stumbles, right? It kind of tries to readjust, and then he finds his balance and pulls around. And you just really get that sense of massive scale out of these things. Like you say, it's like, okay, here we go. We find out Kiki's still alive. Yay. And her back isn't broken.
Yay.
Yeah.
I was expecting that. I was like, oh, the father, the daughter, there we go. But no, she gets out.
I was hoping for a little moment of kissing, but you know, he just already kissed Aina, so you know.
Not the time.
Yeah. We're all gonna die. No, damn it.
Exactly.
I got Skeletor over here who's trying to, you know, defend the village.
And then we get really, you know, the climax of the episode, and really kind of the big moment where it's okay. Shiro's trying to just stop the Zaku's.
Yeah.
And trying to just say, okay, we're going to disable you. We're going to take you down. Surrender. And again, that doesn't work very well.
I, you know, there was a point in there where, and it may not have been this episode. It might have been prior to in the OVA where they talk about thermal imaging. His entire process of hiding from the Zaku's to surprise them. There's a reason why there's little bits of fire on top of him.
Oh,
yeah.
Because the thermal imaging is going to show up as something other than a human laying on the ground.
Gotcha.
So pretty likely that you would be inclined to step your Zaku over it because you don't know whether it's burning debris, you know, whether it's like burning munitions of some sort, but you're going to step over it, and it disguises the fact that Shiro's under it.
Clever.
And I was just like, my God, that's talk about like deep planning on this, because you hadn't mentioned the thermal imaging for like a little while. You know, we know that, you know, there's imaging issues that they're discussing about how many clicks away they are from the village and how can they not hit the thermal pack, you know, the nuclear packs on the Zaku's. There's that kind of discussion, but it's like, we haven't had a thermal imaging discussion in quite a while, and yet Shiro's utilizing that to hide his presence to make an attack. And I'm like, wow, I even more appreciation for this, because so much time passed in the process of making this OVA where it's like, would somebody remember this like 8 months later? I don't even know.
But to that point, I think this is what happens when you have that much time to plan.
Yeah.
You can have those conversations, and how would they do this? What would this be like? What about this? What about that? And you can kind of come up with these really well thought out scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliantly done scene, because I don't think you necessarily would put the two and two together.
No, I had no idea.
As a viewer, to like over the period of time, be like, why is it on fire where he's under? What's the point of that? I'd be like, it's thermal imaging. You've disguised the fact that there's somebody there. Like, smarties.
Yeah. But yes. So point being, Shiro has this moment of trying to save the main pilot girl, and the villagers aren't having that.
No.
And that is indeed kind of the issue here, is when Shiro realizes, oh, this isn't going to end with this.
Yeah.
We were talking about this beforehand. One of the things I really appreciate is this idea that when she sees this and realizes what's going on, she's like, no, I'm going to get dragged out of this mobile suit and hacked to pieces by these villagers. And so, to your point, John, anti-personnel devices.
Yeah. Which I mean, I think everybody would have loved to have seen a moment where Shiro could have like brought some reason and some calmness to it to then capture her and have the villagers understand what's going on. But it's like, no, that was a lynch mob.
Yeah.
Just pure and simple. There was not going to be literally the only way to stop a lynch mob was an anti-personnel device, and that's just no win for everybody.
No, well, I mean, back in the village after the initial fight, when he's standing there, he goes, "Okay," he's trying to direct them, and they're just like, "No, it's killing time." And
revenge for my father.
And they all cheer, even the little kid is like, "Yeah." And it's just like, all right, and you notice when he walks away, he's just like, I have no control over this, and so he knows that, and as he's out there, and he's trying to get her to the Zaku commander to get her to maybe surrender, so that if he has her outside of the thing and says human person being thought sentient, not this idea that you have of the Zaku,
or even just my prisoner.
Right. Yeah. Mine. Fetting. Mine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to jail. She's going to answer for what she did. Here we go. Yep. Yeah, no, there was lynch mobs don't respond well to logic. That's not how they work. So.
And so you get, again, and I think this is right here, possibly the summation of 8th MS team. This image right here of Shiro holding the missile launcher, tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
But pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
Like, this is what has to happen, because this isn't going to end here. Again, like, this is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Unless he pulls the trigger.
Well, what we talked about when we first started watching this. Yeah. This is the 8th team. This is not the war. This is a little team in a little part of a bigger war.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Things are not going to, this is not, his not pulling the trigger isn't going to solve anything. Right. His personal issues involved with launching that rocket are his alone. It's not solving the entirety of this war. And it's just like, that's a painful moment to have, where you're like, my God, the conscience of the man, regardless of what's going on in the war, the barbarity that continues to happen. It's like,
well, that's why they ask at the inquiry, can you still shoot the enemy?
Yeah.
And the answer is that, you can.
Yeah. For defense.
Yep. Right. To protect what he loves and what he values.
Yep. Exactly. And so, to Steve's point, we get to see the handful of survivors. Gathered around. And off they go. That's really kind of where it ends. What a wonderful, just gut punch of an episode.
Yeah.
Which then moves on to episode 9.
Which didn't in the prior episodes, this village survived occupation by Zeon and with the hillside guns and stuff like that. So this is the same village. So, just to now see that they survived that kind of assault, that wiping out of the big guns, or was that a different village?
Different village, I think.
Different village.
I was going to say, because it felt like it was a bigger village in the last one, but like everybody in that survived the village. They, not this time.
That was the one Zeon took over. Because remember, Shiro was brought to Kiki's village.
Okay.
Right.
I was thinking it was like Kiki's village because of the dad meeting the dad. I was going to say, because that town survived. They pushed Zeon out. They wiped out the hill guns. They wiped out those guys, and the town seemed to have survived fairly okay. It's like this one.
No. Well, they make a big deal, visually, of them stomping through the fields at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very symbolic.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, and what we've learned from watching the issues that have occurred in Europe currently, you don't take heavy equipment through farm fields because they bog down because the soil's soft. Idiots. Like, don't take Zaku's through.
Now, this particular, I totally forgot about this. This particular picture that you have on here, Brent, this is the point where one of them says they have beam weapons.
Right.
And this kind of reminds you that this is still a war of shells, of things of that nature. And not everybody has a laser gun. So
beam weapons are new.
Yeah.
Well, the weapon that the Zaku has right there, if you look at the way it's designed, it's the 120 smoothbore from a freaking Abrams tank.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like very current 20th century technology on that Zaku. I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy crap. Is he firing a sabbated round, a depleted uranium sabbat round? Maybe he is. I don't know.
Could be. And so we go from that to the front line, and oh my gosh, what a way to start an episode.
Wow. Yeah,
so
really.
I dislike, it was all a dream moments, in fairness. But to open with this mobile weapon coming in and to cut to Jaburo base, which is one of the classic sort of locations from original Mobile Suit Gundam. Multiple episodes set here, a whole big conflict set here, Amuro versus Char here, and watch it get just nuked.
Like in spectacular fashion. Like, oh damn.
And again, we talked before about following the animation, seeing what the animation is doing. The love and care they put into this sequence. Of all the destruction. I'll see if I can find a
almost a Daikon 4 love.
Absolutely.
Hey.
There's you can get the molten lava coming in from the ceiling. They just really, they put so much time and effort into this.
So if I was inside that cavern and I was looking up and I saw that, I would be like, whiskey.
Well, I love this is happening, and you hear
right.
I think there's a problem here.
Small leak.
There's a serious issue occurring above us. Damn it. Watching it, all I could think of, and like the scene that you've captured here, all I could think of is like, wow, this is like classic Yamato.
Yes, true.
You know what I mean?
Very true.
You've got the ships in orbit that are fighting, and it's like, oh, the Andromeda is going up. I only know Star Blazers wise. So Wildstar's brother is there with the captain, and they're trying to. Nope, that ship goes up, it explodes, everybody's dead. Oh crap, the Earth fleet's destroyed. Planet bombing. I'm like, wow, this gives me such feels. I know these feels.
So again, the simulation, fair enough. But even there, and again, it's one of those things where it would be easy for this to be a dream, Shiro's dream or Aina's dream.
Right.
But the fact that it's like, no, this is rooted in what's actually going on. Like now the Federation realizes, oh no, like this is not just some random weird weapon that we don't have to worry about. We know it's destructive power.
It's a game changer.
Yes. By the way, I looked up the credits that they put on the screen here because they throw a bunch of Japanese names, and it's like a voice actor, like some like line producer. They were just kind of grabbing random Japanese names and putting it in here. It's kind of fun. They all like worked on various Gundam and Sunrise properties, but it's not like here's the director or anything.
Yeah. Well, I just thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, what simulation has like credit roll?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, guys. I enjoyed the sort of like ha elbow in the ribs. What do you think of that, huh? I went to high school with that guy. He has no idea I put his name in there. Hey.
And so off we go. And boy, what pacing in this episode where you have everyone kind of suiting up, doing things. You have apologies. You have Sanders with his kind of little moment there where he wants to talk to Shiro, but kind of can't kind of come up with the words to say. And you get a hint like of what he's going to say. Like, you know, we just had the scene of we have to keep an eye on him. Okay, Sanders is probably the one. We have Karen talking about how she doesn't like, she's very nervous about the drop. Then the drop happens, and just, man, that reveal.
Yeah.
When she goes down and there's a Gao directly below them.
Well, and here's the question I have: is not an MS knowledgeable person.
Yeah.
Is it the Minovsky particles?
Yeah.
Is it? Why is it that they're flying and they don't see the Gao below them with radar?
Because radar doesn't work with Minovsky particles. That is exactly what Minovsky particles are.
Okay. Yes. Okay, because that is not stated. Because it's like they're doing the drop sequence and there's a Gao right below them. I'm like, holy crap. Did somebody not like look at the radar screen and be like, what's that giant thing right underneath us?
Yeah.
That explains it. Thank you. I was thinking that's what it was, but it's not said. So if you're not really dialed into the world, you don't really know that. Okay, fair enough. So the Xeon don't know they're there because of the Minovsky particles, and they don't know the Xeon are there because of the same reason.
Right.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's why you have so many in these series, so many like shots of eyes going wide of people like, there's something there, right there. We didn't know it was going to be there. Why is it there? No, it should not be there.
Well, isn't it when they're evacuating Odessa and they're talking about Minovsky particles are increasing, and you see the vice admirals looking out over them, and you see the suits coming up, and you see the land units, and it's like, okay, so that's telling me that your radar distance kind of judging ability is getting worse as they get closer because the Minovsky particles are interfering with your ability to use radar. So that I'm supposed to apply that continuing knowledge to this situation to be like, oh, how could you drop on top of an enemy aircraft? Oh, because you don't know it's there. Like, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
So I'm sure there's a panel out there of Gundam Physics 101.
Yeah. I'm sure. And so Shiro does, and drops on the Gao and basically just comes on the front of it and says, okay, everyone, just stop. Just stop shooting at us. We'll stop shooting at you. We're cool. We're fine.
You do your thing. We'll do our thing. We'll go our own way.
Yeah, exactly. And the commander, like, he's ready to fire.
Yep.
And then the engine has further problems. And he's like, okay, you know what? In this situation, like, fair enough. We're both in it, as Shiro says. You want to just both die right now? Like, is that really going to be useful here? Like, that's just kind of, that's clearly where this is going. She's like, okay, fair enough. Separate. Right. We live to survive another day. And this comes back to bite Shiro in the butt later.
Yep.
And I love how, like, right after all of these things he's thinking about, where I'm going to have to save as many people as I can, we have a scenario where, okay, you do that and you give yourself more trouble.
Yep. But it does provide an opportunity to show again that not everybody in Xeon is a mindless automaton.
Absolutely.
Right. That he's the the captain there hovering over the button.
Yeah.
He's like, and then makes the rational human choice of like, if I do this, we all die. Everybody on board dies. If I don't do this, there's a chance I can fulfill my mission. I can rescue the people I'm supposed to rescue. It's like, thank you. I love the fact that you keep giving a human face to Xeon.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we come back to Yuri, who's and again pacing. Got like the Yuri who's sitting there and he's waiting for something, and he's waiting for his supplies, and you realize it's the same shit. Oh,
right.
Yep.
They're the ones coming to him. Crud. If he just taken down that Gao, they wouldn't have gotten resupplied. They would have had to run for their lives, and that would have been over.
Now I'm again another Gundam universe. A Gao is not space worthy. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a complete terrestrial transport. So the Vice Admiral's not waiting for this thing to go to space. He's still waiting for Ina's brother's ship.
According to the Gundam Wiki,
Okay.
a GAU is an atmospheric attack carrier.
Okay. So this is purely to bring people in, supplies in. It cannot get them to space. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. In case you're curious, it is powered by a thermonuclear reactor that drives 18 thermonuclear jet engines.
Because
holy crap!
Gives it a theoretically infinite range.
Also, theoretically irradiating everywhere that it flies. Oh, neat. Cool.
We've solved that. Let's take science fiction. So we've solved that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Don't worry about it. It's been taken care of.
No flipper babies.
No, it's everywhere it flies. It turns into sakura petals.
Yeah, right.
Look at the beautiful sakura petals. They're not radioactive. They're beautiful. Okay.
Designed to deploy mobile suits that lack long distance mobility on land. You can carry 3 mobile suits in the deck from its fuselage, and 4 DOPS in the base of each wing. Yes.
Okay.
So now we know.
And knowing's half the battle.
Exactly.
Go,
but to your point, John, I really appreciate this thing where, okay, what have they done? They set up this long pole. A guy's gone up the pole with binoculars.
Yeah.
And there's no radar operator. No, it's just line of sight. How do we see? Because Minovsky particles. But yeah. In fairness, and for those curious watching, the whole point of Minovsky particles is to resolve the question of why doesn't everyone just lob missiles at each other from 1,000 miles out?
Yeah.
There's no point in having mecha fight each other without something to mask all that long range stuff.
Right.
Anyway, things go poorly. I think it's kind of the summation of this entire episode.
Yep.
That's the last episode.
The best planned operations go way the hell off the map.
Because Karen comes down, lands, beautiful moment, all good, fantastic, and then
this happens.
As a Gelgoog, if I am remembering it correctly, pops out, and am I correct, or is that a Gog? It's a Gog. There we go. Gog
is a Gog a heavy version of a Zaku? What's
it's underwater.
It's underwater.
It's an underwater.
Okay.
Specific mobile suit.
Okay.
Which is how it could hide down under there because it's a submarine basically.
All right.
Pops up and Karen loses her head.
Yeah. Like a really very good specific attack. Oh damn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to your point, John, what's great about this scene is it's not just punch. It's where are all the sensors? Take that out first.
Yep.
And then go for the pilot.
Yeah. Once they're blind, they're fairly easy to work with. So, oh boy.
Yep. And so Eldor gets a little moment in the sun to come in and try to stop that. Try to help Karen. He goes in and does what you do. I mean, mecha isn't working very well. I'm gonna hop up and sight for you. Not the greatest moment, but at least it does something while Mikhail is screaming in the hover tank across
driving back and forth across the lake. I'm like, oh boy. Well, I was worried at the moment we had the hold on to the gun and be like, no, up 6 degrees. That was like the exhaust port.
Right.
Like, oh god, this isn't gonna be like you made the kill shot on the Gulg, whatever it is. Gog. And now he's vaporized. God, the ultimate sacrifice. No.
Yeah. That thought came to me and then I was like, I think Elidor would know.
Yeah, I prayed to God he would know. But he's saving the woman he loves.
Exactly.
Right.
By getting vaporized. Oh.
But no, he comes out of it and kind of lovely little moment between the two of them. As you realize there are feelings there. Aww.
Yes.
Aww.
Um,
And they
Then we
all
can
die a
see-
crushing death later. No.
They're all crushed from above somehow. I don't know, an orbital platform, maybe.
And we get a few sort of connecting scenes in here. We find out that the Xeon doctor is popping some pills for the soldiers there, getting them some medication. And this is a reference to, what is the medication from World War II?
Pervitin.
Pervitin. Okay.
Yep.
Which was an amphetamine designed to give a trooper about 3 days of unstoppable, unsleeping, uneating energy, with horrible, amphetamine addiction afterwards. But that's not important here. If you win, that's all that matters, and that's exactly what this dude's doing.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're pumping these people full of. It's the win that's important. And the people are just, superfluous tools towards that end. Like, oh, wow.
Why Johnny can't blink?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gives you a good appreciation for the guy that gets up and tries to help Ina with the
Yeah.
grenade. It's like, he is crashing. He's just been given the shot, so he's not back up on the amphetamines. So his coordination's down, his thinking is down. He can't do things very well until that amphetamine kicks in and he gets all energetic again. Like, oh wow. Just feels like they drug so many interesting things. They drug so many interesting things into MS-08. You know what I mean? It's just really interesting.
Well, the beauty of all that is that this is them showing that the war is not going well for Xeon.
Yeah.
Like, they have to do these things. It's the Zaku's getting lost and getting obliterated basically in a village. It's the rear admiral trying to get his men out, and then you have this, and they're just like, we got to keep going until we can get to safety, and then we'll take a breath and reassess. But you can't get there, so everything is just like, we got to move now because where the noose is tightening. When you start making decisions to nuke a place because you can't have it anymore, like Odessa, then things are not going well.
Yeah.
Well, especially when they're talking about they need the resources, they need this and need that. It's like, you guys are, if you do what you keep doing, you're grabbing today's resources and destroying the chance for you to have tomorrow's resources. So you're really getting nothing. You're trying desperately to grab this, go to space. It's like, if you don't have a constant supply, you don't keep the logistics working, you're not going to do this. You're not going to win this.
Well, remember when Odessa gets destroyed, the vice admiral dude, jerk dude, basically just says, why are we trying to take all this mech with us? We need to get into space. We don't need this anymore. The wars can be won in space. It's not going to be won here. It's going to be won in space. Yeah. So we need to get there. So quit trying to put all the Zaku's back on. We'll use what we have up there and go and do the thing. So, but we just need to get. But in order to do that, we need to get our soldiers up there to continue the fight. Yeah. And so he's got the idea of, like, basically destroy, sabotage what we can't take with us, like back in the day, destroying the cannon so that nobody can use it, or destroy the tank so nobody can use it, and then getting out so that you can turn it around in a place where you can be successful. Because theoretically speaking, Xeon is successful in space up until this point.
Yeah. I think the scene with the doctor is also important too, because I think this is Ina crossing the threshold. Yeah. She's in a very difficult position as this test pilot, as working for her brother. She doesn't want to do that anymore. She realizes what's the danger of the brother and so forth. But this is that final thing where she realizes, oh no, this is evil.
Yeah.
Right. This is crossed beyond just bad motivation, and pushing for things beyond what they really need to do. Like, this is destroying lives even on our side, and needs to be stopped.
Now, question for you: do you think this is the crossing the line of her opinion of her brother and his goals, or Xeon and its goals?
I think
Yes.
Xeon and its goals, because
Okay.
because the doctor says, no, your brother didn't order this. I ordered this.
Okay.
And she doesn't seem to like disbelieve that.
Right.
I think she's like, oh no, but I think she recognizes that the doctor did that because of what her brother is doing.
Okay.
Right. He is driving this forward because of my brother's directives, my brother's deranged passion.
All right.
And so it has caused this.
So it's kind of dual.
Yeah.
The brother
Yeah.
he's gone too far,
Mhm.
and Xeon is willing
Yeah.
to support that. The soldiers of Xeon are willing to go too far as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I was feeling like it was a general condemnation of her brother and his efforts, but it's more we're talking about this more. It seems like, well, it's actually kind of a dawning of like, wow, the whole entire structure is kind of rotten.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And let's see here. Oh yeah, and then the Gao commander comes back in fine form, I must say.
Yep.
With this fantastic little not sabotage. What's the term?
Ambush.
Ambush. There we go. And manages to do that. And again, just the animation here when the guns fire and Shiro immediately puts out his shield, goes down. The slight rocking of the camera when that happens, all the little details to make you really feel what he's doing here.
Yeah.
I want a gunpla of that MS in that position. And then just a little, as the guy says, a little psychological warfare of him saying, "Okay, well, you spared me before. Are you going to spare me now?"
Yeah. I'm putting my life on the line. What are you going to will and do, huh? What are you going to do, buddy?
Yep.
Which I'm still impressed at how much damage that shield took.
Yeah.
It blew off the entire bottom of the shield. And yet Shiro's legs were not sheared off of the actual Gundam.
Yep. Why they have shields?
Now Colonel Sanders, he ends up with a busted leg.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there much bleeding? No, the actual Gundam leg. Oh, okay.
You got to take your humor where you can get it in 8th MS team.
Yeah, that made me giggle. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's talking about the Gundam leg, you idiot.
Shiro's got a lot on his mind.
Yeah, he's trying to not get killed right now. Yeah.
And so Shiro, obviously makes a decision, takes a shot, and does indeed defend his. And this is where we get that moment, that line of, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I forgot. I'm here to defend my friends, my people, my squad, my team, so to speak, my 8th MS team.
Yep.
And so the Xeon get their due. And what a great sort of summation of Gineas's personality and where he is at this point, that he kind of locks Yuri and the rest in this this passage, and then just blows it up.
Yeah.
So they can't get back. No hero's death for Yuri, none of that. Just nope. Just dies in a cabin.
Yeah. Which, again, given that, we know that Xeon is a young nation, they're still sort of working things out in the hierarchy of stuff. It's like, wow, okay, so this, it's not regicide, but you know what I mean? It's still, it's like you're killing these people who are, upper class kind of folks, and like that's kind of clearing the decks for your ascension. Like, interesting. That's not what you really want to have happen during a war.
No.
Nope.
Not so much.
That's where you get people betraying people, where you get people selling secrets to other nations, bad things. You want everybody on board in the same side here.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part where you kind of look at Yuri and you just go, we thought we were going to get more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we were going to get a fight with him. We thought we were going to get something.
Yeah.
When you do the first watch through of this, you're just like, you're getting ready for that fight. That Shira's going to have that fight, or somebody
with that,
or somebody's going to have a fight with this guy, whether it be Zaku, Gun, whatever it was going to be. But there was going to be a confrontation.
Yeah,
and this is where this particular little OVA does such a wonderful little job of just going, war is random, and here you go, boom, done, guy's gone. His character
has absolutely right. Yep.
So it's all random, and anything can happen, and so the guy that could be the best soldier on the face of the earth takes a bullet to the brain. That's just how it works, I'm not saying he's the best soldier on earth, but the point
I would love to have seen Aina, her brother, get just beaten down by the vice admiral, just put in his place, not from a royal status kind of I'm better than you, but just you need to focus on what's important. Wham! You know what I mean? I would have loved that. Instead, no, we get a tunnel explosion.
Because here's the thing: even though we don't like this guy, he's a jerk. He's misogynist. He's a jerk, and whatever. At his core, what is he? He's a soldier. He takes care of his men. He makes the orders. He makes the decisions. He knows or at least he's confident in what he knows what to do next.
And he is not the first arrogant military officer.
Exactly. Yes.
He cares for his men. He's trying to achieve the goal with as minimum possible casualties as he can get by with, and still get everybody into space. The goal into space, out of this quagmire, up to where they know they can do the thing.
And John, that's an excellent point. He is the one who knows this is the losing proposition that they're in.
Yeah.
He gets it. He understands it. And that's the problem he's trying to solve. Meanwhile, Aina's brother's just like, I'm going around the bend and, no, we're going to win my way. And we're just going to, I'm not sure what the next step is, but not you.
I'll just keep shooting this view screen with the revolver here
until it's empty.
Threaten my sister
with it.
And then blow up the vice admiral. Yeah, everything's coming up me. Okay, sure, dude.
Winning.
Yeah, exactly. Hashtag winning. And again, I do kind of appreciate there's this great scene between Aina and Gineas where she confronts him about this, and she goes, "Look, we were told to stop building the machine. You're going against orders. We got to stop this." And he's like, "You really think that if I just leave, everything's going to be great? That the war is just going to stop and you'll get to do whatever you want to, that everything's going to be wonderful? This is the only clear chance Zeon has for a victory. And he's not wrong."
Yep.
That's the thing. From his perspective, warped as it is, he's like, if we do nothing, things don't get any better. We've got to do something, and we have an absurdly powerful weapon here that we're just going to abandon. That's crazy. We need to get it out there and have it actually do what it's supposed to do.
All right. But doesn't he fall into this megalomaniacal kind of thing where it's
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Wunderwaffen, of this great technology. It's so many people fall into that same trap. It's no, we just build the greatest weapon ever, and that will do the thing. It's well, the problem is when you build the greatest weapon ever, there's only one. It's if you could build 100 of them. Then that's the greatest weapon ever. Because if it's super crazy, super powerful, and you can do all these things, there's 100 of them, there's nothing you can do to stop it. One of them, we've already seen, you can stop it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's oh, dude, you can't put all your eggs in one basket because then crap goes wrong.
And then you wind up in a subterranean base and you find yourself shooting at a screen.
Yeah.
And very calmly, because you're beyond the edge of hysterical insanity. You're in the logical area of insanity, which means that everything makes sense to you now. And it doesn't make any sense to anyone else. So everybody else is crazy, but you're calm because you know that.
Right.
And you shoot the thing and you turn around and he just says very calmly, I think you need to leave now.
Yeah.
I'm done with you. And I think I'm just one shred away from just blowing your brains out right now. So why don't you just walk out the room?
If Ina hadn't gotten a boyfriend, do you think things would have gone better?
No.
No.
They were on a downward trajectory no matter what.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
I also love the imagery of the ending of this whole scene with her and her brother, where he walks off, and we have this shot of her, and we literally have machinery closing in around her.
Yeah.
Like just the symbolism of that, of like, this is exactly, and she's getting more and more distant because it's just, this is all, everything is literally closing around her, all around her. And what does she do? She's the only sane one here.
Yep. Interesting part about that, and that I'm looking more at it. Notice she's wearing fatigue-colored pants.
Yeah. Yep.
She's still got a Xeon kind of colored, like slightly off color of her space suit top, but a fatigue bottom.
Yep.
It's
Absolutely.
like, are we making a visual cue here about, you know, how is this a visual representation of her connection to Shiro and the Federation?
Sure.
Not the Federation itself, but him as a representative of that side. So now she's kind of split.
I'm also realizing something here, as I recall. That's the first visual of that in the scene. Is just the pink top until the final shot, when you realize, okay, she's making her choice.
Yep.
That's great. This is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you do it
when you have 3 years worth of time. Let's make her pants pink. No, I have an idea.
Exactly. Love it.
Yeah, I knew there was something funky about, as you were saying, it's like you're drawing out, you're seeing the equipment around it, etc. But it's like, it only took seeing that still for a moment where it's like, wait a minute, those are pants like Shiro's.
Yep.
That's the split. That's the split. But in her is, what side is she? Okay, gotcha. Totally gotcha.
Yep.
But off a golf club.
All right. And so, everything will be fine.
Everything's fine. It's just fine. It's okay.
The important part is that all of your friends are fine. Everything's fine.
And we get our ending. So yes, we are building up to the 2-episode finale.
Oh yeah.
Episodes 10 through 11. And I mentioned this before, I don't think it's a spoiler. Episode 12 is like all denouement. Like it's all cleanup from the big climax of episodes 10 through 11. So do not think episode 12 is another climax.
Right.
It's all beach episode and bikini.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, very good.
It's Michael, aged 65, bitter, smoking a cigarette with whiskey, going, damn Shiro. No.
If he's standing over Shiro's grave, looking at it, saying, "Was I a good trooper?" Like, freaking the end of Private Ryan. No, I'm gonna cry. No, don't do that to me. Don't do that. Did I live a good life? Oh God.
Yeah, just wait, John. Just wait.
I'm also.
Oh crap! You guys not saying things makes me worry. Come on.
I'm also going to say one thing, not to build this up, but the climax contains what is for many people their favorite mecha fight / action scene, like in anime.
Yes, it is. I am in that crowd.
I don't know if I call it my favorite, but it is definitely an iconic action scene in Gundam. So just FYI.
If
for
there
those,
are Zaku's and Gundams like on ice skating to like some kind of freaking song, I'm gonna
Dang
like
it.
freak the hell
Dang
out.
it, you guessed it.
Spoilers.
What the hell's happening now? Oh God, the stroke. It's a stroke, right? I'm having a stroke.
No, it is, without getting into spoilers, it is probably one of even if it may not be the best mecha fight ever made, it is
Okay.
the best well choreographed and well made. Like in terms of the animation, the movements, with the logic behind it. You know, they maybe it took them 3 years to sit down to make that particular thing
You're
work
saying
out.
the physics meets up with the expectation.
Perhaps.
Like
Sort
things
of
moving
but
around kinetically.
yeah.
etc. Okay,
Remember that scene in Macross, very early on in Macross, when they're fighting next to the SDF and the little hoppers, it's like towards the beginning
Yes, the little Zentradi battle pods.
and there was just like that kind of just loving scene of just that entire battle.
Yes,
I would
where you see the
remind
pod rip
you-
apart and the pilot be like, "Ah!"
I'd actually remind you of Macross Plus when Gould and Isamu finally go at it.
Oh
Mecha.
yes, yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Sort of tone and
Yeah.
feel and so forth. Kind of thing.
Jeez, I'm looking forward to that.
No, you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun. And again,
It's good.
again, don't want to build it up. Don't
Yeah.
It's
No, I'm
too
building
easy
it
to-
up. No, it's appropriate. Let's put it.
It's nicely done. So just look forward to that. That will
It's
be
like that scene in Odd Taxi where somebody gets to the back of the taxi and they drive for like 2 blocks,
just like
and
that.
there's dialogue and they get out.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Well,
and
that's a
John
thing.
and John, everyone dies.
Mhm.
Everyone does.
No, you just no. Don't tell me that. Everybody has to live in love and friendship and everything else, and
John,
Sailor
John.
Moon, and come on.
Everybody lives, and that's worse.
Oh God, they live with the horror of living. Oh God, no.
Anyway, so
All
we will see more of that next week. Hope y'all look forward to that. Meanwhile, make a quick break, just a few minutes. We're back to talk about more modern anime and the latest anime news. There is some news, a lot of anime announcements. This week. We will be
And
right
history
back.
this week.
There may be some history.
Ooh,
Sweet.
We will be back in a bit. Let's go with that.
Perfect.
Nice.
Bio break.
Yes. Well, toot toot.
The sound of caffeine.
Just mainline it, Steve. Just mainline it.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I can see the color 9. Yeah,
I can taste the rainbow. What? That's somebody else's catch line, isn't it?
And we're back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a moment, a little breather. Talk about the anime we've been watching. Folks in the chat, please let us know what you've been watching lately and any questions you have for the three of us. We'll try to go a little quicker than normal this week since we just spent 2 hours talking about 3 episodes of 8MS Team.
We had to make up for, I think last time we only spent like an hour talking about 3. So, we did fill in the extra.
By the way, John, I love your cup there.
Yeah.
It's not the sort of popular thing at this moment because it's a Russian podstakariki. It's a teacup.
Gotcha.
But it is from the fabulous days when the Soviet Union had liquidated and everything was on sale. So gotcha. It is a cup that has all kinds of murals and stuff on it to the wonderfulness of agricultural socialism.
That went well.
The power of grain.
Yeah, I have some very lovely.
You don't give to your own people.
I have some very lovely sterling silver and gold lined vodka couplets to drink from. That I haven't had anything out of them in a long while, but I love them. They're great. I have to polish them occasionally because sterling silver tarnishes like
We're getting off to a great start for being brief.
Well, that's the briefness.
There we go.
Well, allow me to read a passage from the Tokugawa, The Social and Economic Antecedents of Modern Japan.
I've been thinking about rivers this week and the way rivers flow down to the sea. And I just...
Well, let me read a poem from Tajihi. Cranes call flying to the reedy shore. How desolate I remain as I sleep alone.
Nice.
I learned that for a college literature course. So I remembered things over time. So there we go. Now, what other things are going on with everyone?
John?
Catching up on everything and more that I could possibly catch on anime-wise. Honey to Clover.
Oh.
Since we saw that at Otakon, I am continuing to watch forward of it. Cool. And my goodness, I can see where Pet Girl of Sakura-sao pulled a lot of content out of Honey to Clover. And but I'm enjoying it. I really like it. And then everything else, my stepsister, was my ex, Black Summoner, Licorice Recoil, Overlord. I'm trying to catch up on everything as much as I can. And now that we've shifted to Sundays, I watch the living hell out of anime on Saturdays now.
Cool.
Good. Like when I'm not in Genshin and fully engaged therein.
Yeah.
After our Monday 14-hour Odyssey into Genshin.
That was last Monday?
That was last Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
That was Labor Day. Which was then followed up by Thursday, where things went very quiet after my shower as I'm getting ready to make lunch and go to work. And I can't find a dog.
Oh.
And I look around and there's nothing. I've heard no noises. And I look out in the backyard and there I see, finally, a little dog appearing out of nowhere at the back fence. And I look down and I say, oh, even from this distance with my old eyes, someone looks muddy. What's the brown thing next to it? Oh, God, he's killed something.
Oh, yeah.
A yearling rabbit. So it was not a baby, but it was it obviously was a springborn. So it was about the right size for an adult rabbit. So it wasn't small rabbit. My loving, sweet adult puppy, who's 14, popped its head off like a soda bottle.
Okay.
There was no indication of a neck. Its body ended at the neck or at the shoulders, and its head ended at the base of its skull. which I did not realize until I tried to pick it up to dispose of it, and its head rolled off, and it was missing an eye. And I, like, he is such a
Yamishibai, Japanese ghost stories.
Exactly. Yamishibai. Itarashai, Mitarashai. Yamishibai no Jikandayo. Yeah. I mean, that was 5 minutes before I was leaving to go to work. And I'm looking at him like, I love you. You're covered with mud and blood. And now I have to dispose of a body. I feel like a crime syndicate kind of thing.
The most important question of this, out of the story, John, that we all want to know. Stu?
What?
Stu?
Yeah.
I kid you not. A guy I work with who is a hunter.
Yeah, rabbit's good.
Yeah, said, why didn't you quarter it? And did you gut it? I'm like, do what? He's like, quarter it, soak it in salt water, and then you boil it for like 45 minutes, and then you bake it. I'm like, I bagged it, double bagged it in a garbage bag and threw it away because I had 5 minutes to go to work, and I'm not going to go out and take a carcass and put it in my freezer.
So wasteful.
I know, and I like rabbit, but it's like, in future,
of course,
in future,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, it looked where he had not savaged it terribly. He had apparently it was a very quick kill, but where it exposed some of the flesh, it was beautiful pink, looked like chicken, like literally looked like fresh chicken breast. So I'm sure it was fine. I do not have the skill set to determine whether it has worms. So this is not something I'm going to learn in 5 minutes before I have to go to work. So bagged, done, gone. Dog washed when I got home after a long day from work. That's what a lot of Saturday was like. Let's just watch some anime and not think about murdering animals. But he has been ever so proudly pleased at being the most efficient hunting Jack Russell that there is, and I award him that olive leaf crown.
Okay.
That he has done the wonderful thing, that he has fulfilled his breed standard. Good on him. Don't kill animals in the backyard. Bark. Just bark at things. So, anime. Disposal. Here we are. Genshin. A lot of Genshin. So, how about y'all?
Genshin.
Yeah, how's y'all's week been?
Steve, how about you?
So my non-existent dog brought me a non-existent rabbit. No.
No.
So the pretty lady who gives me food went to Juneau, Alaska this week. So that means I got to watch actually anime on the television because I stay up late at night. Right. And I actually got through a lot of stuff and some stuff that I haven't been able to get to. So like I was just kind of at first I was just kind of just doing one shots of just certain things I've seen before and just enjoyed like Soul Eater and enjoying that, but then just going, no, I don't need to watch the whole series, whatever. And then
how far did you get?
What, in Soul Eater?
Yeah.
No, I've watched the whole thing.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. In the past. In the past.
All right. Gotcha.
It's not that.
Yeah, it's not long.
It's not super long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made it to Dr. Frank, and I was just kind of like the way that the animation was done. I was just like, okay, I'll come back to this later.
See, I love the animation of that one. That's why I bought it. But then I was just like, no, what am I doing? I don't need to be watching stuff I've seen before. So I started watching some other things, and I'm at episode 5 of Spy Family, and so I just finished that up last night, where they take her to the castle where he calls in all the agents to do the thing, and the informant guy turns out to be a softie for Anya and Anya and absolutely and we turn and find that Yor is a bit of a lush and is like borderline superhuman in terms of her fighting, but like the little brief scene that you get with her going up against Lloydman, and it's just like, Like you and I'm like sitting on my sofa, just like freaking Jabba the Hutt watching things of comfort, and I'm like in the sofa, like going, like, oh no, oh wow, oh god, like especially when she's at that one position where she just kind of anchors herself on the floor with her feet, and she's just, and he's just like, I'm going to die, I am going to die. It's a great little episode. Actually, all the episodes have been great thus far. And Anya, like you said, who doesn't love Anya?
Yeah.
So
adorable.
There's this great scene when they're trying to get her to the school, and they're individually, each in their own minds, going, we're going to do the thing. We're going to be confident. He's just like, I've got the plan together. We're going to do the thing. And that's what he's thinking. Yours is like, I'm nervous, but Lloyd's got a plan, and I'm going to go along with it. I can do this. We can do this. This is going to be. We're going to do this. And Anya goes, I need to pick my nose. And Lloyd, in perfect Lloyd fashion, goes, no, don't do that. Please don't do it. And then when they're like, seeing whether or not she gets into the school, and all these superstitious bad luck things happen. Talking themselves out of it. Whatever. They're just like, no, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Oh no, there's a black cat. Oh no, this happened. Walking on whatever. And then Anya goes, I stepped in poop. And then all three of them are just like doomed.
Yeah.
But she's completely adorable. And John, Brent, I totally see why when you were reading the manga, why you attached on to this. I totally get it. I totally see it.
Yep.
And because the way that it starting to turn into a family dynamic. I don't want to do spoilers, but when they're doing the interview and Lloyd kind of loses it a little bit.
There was a mosquito on the desk.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I actually thought of you, Brian. I was just like, oh yeah. He's just like, and the whole time he's just like, why do I care about this little girl? Because you're acting like a father. That's why.
Yep.
So that was greatly enjoyable to watch. Just some other little bits and pieces, and then one I'm going to do for my channel next week, The Laughing Salesman, and I'll just wrap it up real quick here. Just a quick description. One of the most horrific looking salesmen ever to walk the earth. Short, rotund guy dressed in like literally 1950s salesman outfit with the briefcase, and when he takes off his hat, his hair is actually parted in the middle. And he has this grand, evil clown style smile.
Yeah.
Perfectly. And he never gives up on the smile. Like it never frowns or anything. And this anime is just basically him as part of a series of stories that he tells about how he helps people fill the hole in their hearts. And it's a very, very, very Buddhist kind of thing where it turns into a Twilight Zone saying, when you want the things that are materialistic, bad things happen. So, but it's a very enjoyable, and I was just like, I gotta watch new stuff. I can't keep watching FMA Brotherhood all the time, or all this, that, and the other thing. And finished my panel for OnCon.
Nice.
And so Brent has that now. And the last thing is today, speaking of Genshin, I made fisherman's toast. And there's pictures in the Discord, and it was good. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tasty. I can see why Paimon is just like, Paimon wants fisherman toast. Okay, I get it now.
Paimon wants to thirst on the blood of children.
What?
How about you, Brett?
So I've not been watching much anime. I've been reading about anime this week. I read the first volume of a manga called World's End Solte, which I hope is an anime adaptation. I cannot summarize it. A ton happens in this volume. I'm going to do my best and say orphan girl in remote medieval village with magical medieval world. Bad things happen, very bad things happen, and she leaves the village to start her sort of adventure in the real world after having been gifted an artifact by what I think is her future self, who proceeds to die and gets buried. The artifact turns this girl into a magical girl when activated, and allows her to fight back the horrific, evil, like magic destruction, corruption thing in the world.
Oh.
She is accompanied by a man who cannot die and is desperately trying to.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, it's a lot. Really cool art style. Very, kind of think like the best of like a. If you've seen, the anime from a couple of years ago about the kids who are being like raised in an orphanage to be harvested.
Oh,
I forget the name of it. But you know how like the kind of rush visual style of that,
right?
Think that kind of a thing. Really enjoyed it, but just there's a lot. Also,
that's funny that you mentioned that series because now I can't remember it.
Wow. Promise Neverland. Thank you, Tobias.
Promise Neverland. Yes.
That's it. Also,
thank God.
The Man Who Leapt Through Film, which is a recent biography and art book of Mamoru Hosoda's book of works.
Yes, I heard about that.
I've been reading that. There's a lot of text in it. It's actually not just an art book. Like it's basically a biography of Hosoda, and it helps to fill in a lot of gaps. So, for example, when he first started working in TV, he wasn't really getting a lot of traction. This is before Digimon, but his peers were very impressed with his work. So one of his peers reached out and said, "Hey, I'm working on an OVA. That seems like it's more your speed than TV. Will you help me storyboard this OVA called Rurouni Kenshin Trust and Betrayal?" So we did that. And that gave him some notoriety. So he got a call from Kunihiko Ikuhara saying, "Hey, I'm working on this TV series called Revolutionary Girl Utena. Will you help me storyboard that?"
Wow. Damn.
So he worked on that, and apparently, like he disagreed with like how Ikuhara was ending the storyline for a character, and like convinced Ikuhara to change the ending for the character. Like he was that involved.
Wow.
Damn. Okay.
And from there, I think he got the call from Toshio Suzuki at Ghibli saying, "Come work with us. You know, it's time for you to come work with us."
Damn. Wow. Okay.
And he worked there for a year and a half and left, shall we say? Without getting into it, there is like a paragraph in this book about his time at Ghibli. Like, there's not much. But he says, and I'm paraphrasing. The people there were not ready to work with me.
Oh.
Huh.
And it sounds like Miyazaki and Takahata had their ways of working. And that's all they were interested in pursuing and in following. And a new young whippersnapper was not as welcome as may seem. And he talks about, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he talks about how, he left and like he said, I thought my career was over because I essentially flunked out of Studio Ghibli, and that's like how my peers saw it, that like I failed at the pinnacle of what I could possibly do, and he was kind of ostracized for a while, until Masamu Murayama called him up and said, "You need to make movies. Come work with me." And they made Go for the time. But yeah, quite the roller coaster.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was there a lot of detail about what he did post Ghibli before the phone call came?
Oh yeah. There's various stuff. He did the One Piece film, one of the One Piece films.
Okay.
Just some of the other stuff there, but yeah.
So ostracized, but not like out of work.
No. He
sit around at home and look at the cherry blossoms. They're beautiful today. I wish I could eat.
Absolutely, because he said like he still got work, but like there was this distance. Everyone had this distance with him, because he was just, corrupted by not managing to make that work, which is quite sad. But very interesting. I haven't finished the book yet, so we're working through a lot of stuff. And they said one of the things is that like all that stuff for like Kenshin and Utena, pseudonyms, all under pseudonyms. And there's a lot of that in the industry because I've been asked to help with this, I've been asked to help with this, and so tracing down all that stuff has been difficult until you actually sit down with somebody saying, "Oh yeah, that was me." So interesting.
I'm Hayao Miyazaki. No,
Yeah,
not. No, I am. Truly, really, I am.
Exactly. Totally. But this is interesting. Y'all hear that? Sorry. Hit the button twice. Shouldn't do that. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second because I had to import
There's
a thing.
twice as much weird news.
Exactly. Imagine that. So let's go over here. Welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending September 11th, 2022. And let's start with some news about Japan and Japan's Moon Viewing Festival, which has arrived this weekend. And unsurprisingly, a Sailor Moon inspired collaboration has been announced to celebrate.
Well,
But not with the typical cute merchandise you might expect. Japanese fast food chain Mossburger is releasing, you guessed it, a limited time Sailor Moon themed Moon Burger. Which, that's a thing. It features Tsukumi hot spring eggs and a crescent-shaped sausage representing the crescent moon.
So there's sausages on my Sailor Moon.
Yes,
burger?
they are. Yes.
Huh.
I'm not gonna lie. It looks like something I would be killing in Genshin.
It looks like a Zaku to me.
I'm not gonna lie. I would eat the hell out of that.
Yeah, it looks delicious. Yeah,
But other than that, the sausage is a little weird. Like,
The combination is called Moonlight Romance,
wow.
which is the opening theme to Sailor Moon. Because what more romantic meal could there be to enjoy beneath the moon with your loved one than this?
And sausages and eggs. What
sausages
does
and
that
eggs.
represent? It's a fertility sandwich.
Hey!
Oh. Hey, here we go.
wow.
Mossburger released a short ad for the sandwich featuring narration from Kotono Mitsuishi, the voice actor of Usagi, including a play on her iconic catchphrase, "I kid you not." She actually says this. "In the name of the moon viewing, it's delicious."
Oh, the dump truck full of money strikes again.
Exactly.
Like, really?
By Grabthar's hammer. Save it.
Oh, God.
Now,
My.
we're not done yet.
Of course not.
Now, anime clothing collaborations are nothing new, but some are definitely weirder than others. Hips Hop has teamed up with Gegege no Kitaro, a line of themed boxer shorts.
What?
Featuring images of 6 main characters from the 1985 Kitaro anime.
Oh, wow.
Including Madama Oyaji, because who wouldn't want a giant naked eyeball on their backside? If you're looking to support your favorite yokai on your skivvies, these shorts are on pre-order now for 2,500 yen a pair.
I'm conflicted.
I'm gonna probably this probably would be a good point to make is that check your sizing because sizing is for Japan.
Right.
Not for a lot of the more Rubenesque people that occupy a lot of the rest of the world. I so want a pair of these.
I know.
Damn it.
I want an eyeball on my backside.
I'm thinking I want a Kabe Kabe. I love Wally Wally.
It's
great.
Why not? Why not?
Oh, dear.
Now,
Wow.
we're still not done with the weird news.
It gets weirder still.
It gets weirder still.
Oh,
So, a new manga-inspired stage musical has been announced this week. And what lends itself better to spontaneous song and dance numbers than, you guessed it, Attack on Titan? That's right, Attack on Titan the musical.
I've come to eat your village, eat your village, eat your village.
It'll be
By
very
the soft
January.
moonlight, your mother is delicious.
What?
Okay. All right. Here we go.
It'll premiere in January of next year, featuring music direction from hip-hop artist Ken the 390, and aims to combine traditional staging and music with the latest technology to recreate the terrifying world of Attack on Titan. Because that's what you want in your stage musicals. Is raw terror.
We have like gushing blood on the person.
We want to leave the audience with a slight bit of trauma and a toe-tapping tune or two. That's very good.
So tell us what you thought of Attack on Titan.
Horrifying, yet I can't get the tunes out of my head.
But yes.
Oh no.
We have a visual. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
People.
I don't see any tap dancing on that visual, but that's fine.
Oh my god, the rigging on this. They're going to be like people just you just imagine rehearsals. No, look at it collide. Oh, damn it.
If I get
understudy
to see a tap dancing Titan, that's all I need.
What's that?
If I get to see a tap dancing Titan, that's all I need. I need 3 seconds of that clip, and I'm good.
Nobody needs that because they're all naked.
It's going to be an 18+ show. Naked Titans. Then to sort of give the idea without too much rigging about them flying around, it's all going to be on roller skates.
Nice.
Wow. Starlight Express meets Attack on Titan. Here we go.
Yeah. There's where you want to be inspired by.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That's production.
Pachinko would be so much easier.
I know. I mean, come on, people. Come on. All right, let's move on to some anime announcements. Some interesting anime announcements this week. Starting off with this one. Holy smokes, everyone. This week brings us a pretty significant anime announcement. A website opened on Wednesday to announce The Rose of Versailles is getting a new anime film.
Yeah, I saw that. Wow.
Its first animated work since 1990.
Yeah.
And 50 years after the manga's initial serialization. The story is set in the court of Marie Antoinette around the time of the French Revolution, or just before the French Revolution, particularly, and really inspired the 1979 anime series and 1990 anime film, plus a live-action film, and many, many recurring Takarazuka stage musical performances. It contributed significantly to the development of shoujo manga as a genre, and was the first shoujo manga to receive mainstream success, contributing to the genre shift from works aimed at children to those aimed more at adolescents and young adults. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And like this image, that don't look like 1979. Like, I can't wait to see what Rose of Versailles looks like as a modern anime. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any kind of Utna kind of vibe going on. We'll see what happens.
That's the interesting question. Like, that anime series was very stylized.
Yes.
Are they going to go that route, or are they going to go more kind of restrained modern style? I don't know.
It's going to be like Final Fantasy 15. It's going to be all the CGI kind of thing going on.
Okay, gotcha. That's good to me.
We'll find out. We will find out.
We'll definitely find out. The cover of the 9th volume of the Frieren Beyond Journey's End manga was revealed this week and states the manga is getting an anime. The story follows an elf mage named Frieren, who, decades after her party defeats the Demon King and brings peace to the land, embarks on a new journey to fulfill the last wishes of her former comrades and confront her own immortality. From what I've read, this is a little more kind of slice of life journey kind of a story.
Right.
Than a lot of other things. So I'm intrigued. You can get the manga. I have it downloaded. I'll hopefully read it soon. Piroya's The Family Circumstances of the Imbalanced Witch is also getting an anime adaptation. It's a comedy. It focuses on the unusual parent and child relationship of a witch who lives alone in the forest and a human girl she found as a baby and raised, who is now a grown and responsible teenager, while the witch acts more like a irresponsible child. So wackiness ensues, as the irresponsible daughter kind of takes care of her irresponsible mother, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Sounds cute. The Cafe Terrace of the Goddesses, a harem romantic comedy manga, is inspired by a TV anime. The creator also created Fuka in a Town Where You Live.
Oh.
Set to air next year, a college student returns to a childhood home and family cafe after his grandmother's passing, only to discover that the 5 girls working at the cafe all claim to be part of his grandfather's family.
Oh, okay.
So you better handhold and kiss a whole lot of them to find out who's
exactly.
going to be the true heir. Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Totally. Maybe please twins. Maybe a little bit of a
One guy twins. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Kiss by sis, maybe.
That's-
I don't know. Maybe.
that's-
As soon as you said harem, I'm gonna end up watching it anyway. So that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Kanekawa's announced an anime adaptation based on the "You Were Experienced, I Wasn't, and This Is How We Started Dating" light novel series. It follows a pair of completely opposite high schoolers who began going out because of a game, but discovered that even their differences can be something to bond over. I read a bit more on this, but apparently, basically, and I may be misunderstanding this, but loner guy either like loses a bet and has to like introduce himself to her, or like he's playing a game and he sees like a video game and he sees that like another player is nearby, and so he goes to like connect up or share resources or whatever, and finds it's like the most popular girl in school, right? They're very outgoing, cute, dress up darling.
Yep, I was gonna say Marin-chan. Yep.
Right. But apparently, like they start hanging out together and like just enjoy each other's company, just having very different views on things. So
like Marin-chan.
Yeah, even like Marin-chan. But apparently, this is less about like their bonding over like appreciating the similarities of their interests, and more about we like completely different things and find that interesting. Like I'm intrigued by your hobbies, you're intrigued by my hobbies, apparently. So interesting.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a news week without a new isekai anime. And this week's entry is actually the strongest, inspiring a TV anime sometime next year. The unfortunate protagonist gets the privilege of being reincarnated into another world, but is promptly reborn as a baby and abandoned by his parents, who are royalty. He must learn to navigate this dangerous new world, but fortunately he's got off-the-charts magic, of course.
Of course he does.
Okay, now, if you stop it at the point where he's like 1 year old and like a ridiculously powerful mage, and he can think like an adult but can't communicate other than like, I'd watch that. That'd be funny as hell. But if you're gonna have the whole growing up thing, like was it Mushoku Tensei?
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, we've done that.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's isekai. We've done
that. But yes, a 1 year old like babbling baby who like has ridiculously superhuman powers. That would be damn funny.
I'd watch that. I'd definitely do that. The Tear Moon Empire light novel series is also getting a 2023 TV anime. The selfish Princess Mia of a fallen empire is killed by her people, but suddenly wakes back up as a 12-year-old. To be clear, she does not isekai. She jumps back in time to herself when she was 12. And sets out to rewrite history and fix the empire so she can avoid the guillotine a second time. So a little bit of villainous. Villainous.
That's what it sounds like.
But it sounds like a little bit more like, I know exactly where this is going and need to kind of rework things as opposed to like I'm in this scenario.
Right. I need to replant the flags like here, there, here, and there. So let's not lead to death. Huh.
And The Ancient Magus' Bride is getting a second season.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just like, holy cow.
What's interesting is kind of the backstory here. So first season was by Studio Wit, and it was pulled away from Studio Wit. And a new studio called Studio Kafka was established precisely to take over production of Ancient Majesty's Bride and create the OADs.
Damn.
Which they've been doing. And then they're going to go ahead and do this. I don't know, man. But
Studio Wit did an amazing job with the series.
Yeah.
How they could have gotten that taken away, and how can you plus that for some other studio? God.
Well, you do it with
Good
visuals
luck.
like this. You know, they revealed this key visual for the new season, and I'm like, that's how you get people interested in a new season of Ancient Majesty's Bride.
Yeah, just what Studio Wit did it so good.
Yeah,
oh man,
legendary.
Yeah.
On that. So
I mean, we've talked about the bits and pieces of it where it's like just the detail, the loving detail of everything in that show.
Yeah,
nothing is spared for bookshelves worth of books, but for just the littlest flowers around the house.
Yeah,
it's just stunning in its detail. So, okay, well, we'll see how this is going to go.
Yeah, we will see. Moving on to some more normal anime news. The forest areas in Tokorozawa, Saitama were the inspiration for Studio Ghibli's beloved My Neighbor Totoro. But threats to the forest from land development have sparked a conservation effort that Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli themselves are getting in on. The Green Space Conservation Project, being run by Tokorozawa City, aims to conserve 2 different forest areas of around 2 hectares each, that will cost an estimated 2.6 billion yen. The city has allocated 1% of its municipal tax revenue towards the purchase of the land, about 1.8 billion, and Hayao Miyazaki has donated 300 million yen of his own money towards the cause. And that's like $2-3 million.
Damn.
But this still leaves a gap. So a crowdfunding campaign was launched, which aimed to raise a total of 25 million yen by September 30th, and has, unsurprisingly, already surpassed its goal. Contributions toward the campaign were shifted at a set 25,000 yen, $250, so sorry, 180 US bucks right now, from 1,000 supporters. And in return, those supporters will receive 5 reproductions of background art used in My Neighbor Totoro and a frame.
Oh, baby.
Not bad. You get the camphor tree in 2 different angles and various other images from there in gorgeous, gorgeous detail.
Damn.
Not bad.
And it's already exceeded. It's
already exceeded.
Right, yeah.
We're all good to go. Yay.
Yeah.
2 hectares seems kind of small, though.
Oh, it is small, and they showed, and it's like a strip of trees. It's like strip here. That's all they got. That's all we're gonna get.
I was gonna say, because I would have figured like 50 or 100 hectares would have been probably like forest. You know, I mean, like that's a big thing versus 2.
Yeah, no.
But with land value being what it is and putting it into functional use, I get that.
Yep.
I get that.
Let me actually see if I can show. We will see if this works. I'm going to try something real quick, everyone. Oh, yeah, that works.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, like, it's not nothing, but it's not huge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's... Wow. Dang.
This is a 3.5 hectares of land. So there's a total of 3.5 hectares of land in the whole project. But it sounds like this crowdfunding is for this particular chunk of that larger project.
Right.
Gotcha.
Still not huge.
Makes you wonder whether could you raise a significant amount of crowdfunding to be able to like buy the adjacent parcels and connect it. But that's you never know.
You never know. Let's see here. One Piece seems to be going stronger than ever these days.
One piecing.
Say what?
One piecing.
One piecing, exactly.
Yeah.
It's no Mugen Train, but
one part of that is the August release of his latest film, One Piece Film Red. As of this week, the movie has surpassed Top Gun Maverick to become the year's highest earning film in Japan so far, and the 9th highest earning anime film in Japan of all time.
Hmm.
The film centers on a new idol character, of course. So naturally, its songs are dominating over on the music charts. Singer Ado, the singing voice of the film's Uta, has ranked #1 for 4 consecutive weeks across all 3 Oricon digital ranking charts, becoming the first artist to achieve the feat since the chart started in 2016, 2017, and 2018, respectively.
Damn.
The top 4 places on this week's streaming rankings were also all her songs. Not bad.
Gracious, the way that anime and the sort of blending of the media with singing, etc. Oh, goodness gracious.
The movie has sold 9,298,000 tickets,
Damn.
having made 92.17 million.
One for each volume.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Pretty much.
Dang. Not bad at all.
I love hearing these numbers because 20 years ago, if you had said, "Oh no, this is going to be this like wildly grossing film," be like, "No, you're insane."
Yeah, right.
One Piece film? No.
That'll be the Luffy, the guy with the wacky arms.
That will never happen. Not going to
Never,
go to comments before I go to like calculus.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Sorry, I was being generous. 30 Yeah.
Well, Gundam fans in the UK, US, Canada, and Australia will soon have another reason to visit theaters. Crunchyroll has acquired the rights to the new Mobile Suit Gundam Kukuru's Done's Island anime film and will screen it in theaters later this month.
Wow.
Both subbed and English dubbed version will screen in the UK September 21st and 22nd, in the US September 27th and 28th, Canada and Australia starting September 29th.
Huh.
This is the retelling of the 15th episode of the original Gundam series.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's exciting.
That's the missing one, right?
Yep, that's the missing episode.
Right.
So
Cool.
we'll get it in theaters over here. That's tempting. Very tempting.
IMAX.
Yes, absolutely. We have games based on anime and anime based on games, but this week the Cyberpunk 2077 franchise is connecting the two. An update to the original game, the video game, has added a questline, weapon, and cosmetics from Studio Trigger's upcoming Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime series.
Nice.
And they claim that the anime will be played in-game as part of the quest.
You should check out the art. I actually was checking out the art last night. It's pretty nice.
The anime will premiere on September 13th with a story that is separate from the game, but still linked in some way, apparently.
Yeah, so the guy I work with was telling me Friday about that. He's like, "Oh yeah, this is great. This Cyberpunk 2077 anime. Oh, I'm looking so forward to it." I'm like, "There's a what and a who now?" I missed that announcement.
And maybe you can actually play the game now. Maybe it's actually like
maybe it's functionally playable.
Nice.
Yay! Apparently, they've been patching the hell out of it for since its release. It's amazing.
I mean, some of the art that comes from 2077 is just amazing.
Yeah,
and what I saw of the Edge Runner actually does make me want to watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's a story I did not think I would say. The Princess Tutu anime will hold its 20th anniversary event in Tokyo on September 25th.
Oh, ow.
Wow.
The main
20 years.
20 years.
It was yesterday.
20 years.
Ow.
With the main staff and voice actors reading letters from fans and discussing the memories of the series. The event will have a daytime and an evening session, which will be live streamed.
Damn.
That hurts.
But 20th anniversary event. That's cool.
Oh, it's cool. It's very cool, but it just doesn't feel like 20
years.
It
does not feel like 20 years.
I feel like I was just watching the AMVs of that yesterday.
No.
It's just like,
Is a Princess Tutu? Will you get a Tu Love Ru 20th anniversary?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Right.
Princess Tutu, yes, but probably there's a lot of others that are not.
Could they
treatment?
Could they do more anime for Princess Tutu? I wonder.
I'm sure they could.
But how? Like this? That story is done.
Oh yeah.
They.
Well, now you do the dream of like one of the characters that's set on a night where you're not in the anime, and in that dream there's this whole other world. Yeah,
that's how you do it. You got it.
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah,
nailed it.
Coma fantasy. I mean,
Isekai.
Isekai.
Hey. Oh,
Princess Tutu as a warrior in a futuristic space isekai. Ah, God, really?
I'd watch it, but
Yeah, I'd
still.
want to know, but
Yeah.
still.
Last up, a warning to any of you who've used the streaming service Wakanim. The release of new content has been delayed as it works through an issue which may or may not be related to a possible sale of data leaked from its 6.7 million users.
Oh, no, that's not good.
No.
Personal data, IP addresses, and account info from the service was listed for sale on a data leak marketplace at the end of August, and has since been marked as sold.
Oh.
Crunchyroll, who now hosts Wakanim's content library as part of the big merger from earlier this year, stated it's aware of the alleged data incident and is investigating the issue. Investigation is ongoing. So, again, to be clear, Crunchyroll sort of acquired. This is not Crunchyroll data.
Right. This is what they inherited.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Time to change your passwords again.
Yeah, no joke.
Oh. So that's bad. Kind of interesting that the hackers are going after that.
Yeah. Well, you take off the low-hanging fruit as best you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could result at least in some credit card numbers, maybe, that, you know, you could skim some from before they shut you down.
Yep. An August 28th post on the data leak marketplace breach forums offered to sell data leak from 6.7 million users, including each user's account name, universally unique identifier, IP address, email address, state, city, zip code, country, phone number, first name, last name, and account type.
Eesh.
Which means there's going to be a crap ton of junk mail coming to a whole bunch of people real soon.
Hope y'all like car warranties. Just saying. Yeah. That's all the news for this week. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Not bad. Mine's not bad this week.
No, okay.
That's terrible. Let's see here. There's history.
Ooh.
History exists. There's definitely history this week. Let's do some history.
History are us.
Let's mainline some history.
Yeah.
Oh, the 1820s are good.
Sengoku period, yeah.
That's our opening now. That has to be our opening.
Yeah.
Let us go back in history to September 7th, 1963. Any guesses for this one? 1963.
Cuban Missile Crisis. No.
Ken?
Astro Boy.
Astro Boy.
Astro Boy, yeah.
Specifically, September 7th.
Tezuka decides to make the low-budget limited animation of Astro Boy.
Nope. No.
Damn.
This is the September 7th. Astro Boy premiered in America on ABC.
Oh, wow.
1963. Wow, good.
Yes.
Jeez.
Okay. And that's like it premiered in Japan in January of '63.
Oh, wow.
So that was a quick turnaround time.
Yeah, no joke.
Good to them.
Hey, Tezuka, we'll give you $25 if you just sell it to us. Yes, sure. Here, have it. Go.
Quite a few years later, on September 11th, 1995, in America, saw the premiere of a little show called Sailor Moon.
Oh.
It shocks me when you say these numbers with these shows. It's like, what? It seems to me like it would have been before that.
Yep, 1995, Sailor Moon. And 3 years later, September 8th, 1998, which I thought was later than this, was the premiere of Pokemon in America.
Dang.
Yep. It did fairly well.
It's notable, I guess, of sorts.
Pokey what? Pokey
Yeah.
what?
Pocket monsters? I believe I've heard of them before.
Yeah. It's so weird thinking that when that came out, like no one knew,
Yeah.
right? Like, and even back then, like I remember at the time, like no one was really aware of the card game in the U.S. So everyone was like, okay, this anime is coming over here. It's a kids show. Fine, whatever. I guess there's a card game, whatever. But no one could have anticipated the cultural touchstone that became.
I think it was to John, to your point. I think they literally just went we're gonna bring Pokemon to America. Yeah, for how much? Oh, just some cash here. It's not gonna do very well over there. No one's really gonna pay attention. We'll get through a season, but hey, we got cash money out of it, right? Right. All right, let's move on to the next project. 12 months later, oh my God, we're drowning! We're drowning in Pokemon.
Daikon 4.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Oh crap! Here we go.
Yeah. Because as I recall, it took a little while for the video game to come out over here.
Yeah.
I think it was the anime and the card game came out, fairly
very close to each other. Yeah.
Then they got the video game fairly shortly thereafter. But I think it was those two. Y'all remember the Pokemon card game's addictive thing?
Yes, I remember that. I remember those warnings coming out on local news TV.
Gambling for children.
And it was gambling. Yeah, I remember the
gambling for children and Satan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. They were gambling for Satan.
Yeah,
more or less.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A certain number of cards.
They're worshiping these little monsters so that they can get better profits when they gamble because 5-year-olds they understand currency.
And again, in fairness, like there were the stories of kids, spending $1,000 on Pokemon cards.
Because you
could
$1,000.
Yeah.
All the kids in their summoning circles. I summon you, Pikachu. I summon you. Okay, what's going on here?
Pikachu.
In fairness, they could have big one.
Oh my!
How big that show was.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I mean, I bought one of the little Robo Pikachu. I bought one of those, and I don't follow Pikachu at any of Pokemon at all.
Do you all remember at like bookstores? Like the Saturday morning, like Pokemon card battling groups would come together.
Yep.
Really?
I remember that.
When Yu-Gi-Oh came out, like it became a thing where just suddenly all these 10-year-olds gathering together to play Pokemon together.
Well, down at the mall that slowly is becoming a hospital, it's a weird thing when you have that happen. But years and years ago, they had a comic book store in there that had Pokemon, Beyblade, had a bunch of this stuff that they would have their league nights on like Saturday and Saturday afternoons and Saturday evenings, where it would be all these people would come together. And I think Magic was added into there before the shop closed, but it was just like, holy cow. You'd go in there, there's an entire back room that had like 12 plastic folding tables and all these chairs everywhere.
With all these kids with like green print hats going.
Just like,
I just
going on with this.
Well, and then years and years later, there would be the Pokemon Go on your phones.
Oh yeah.
And like literally my bar at the Sellers was not a gym point, a spot, a
Pokestop,
a Pokespot. And if I was standing within like 5 feet of the actual physical location, people would come in and go, "Sir, please hold still. You have a Jigglypuff on your chest." And I'm like,
yes, I'm excited to meet you, but let's not call this out right in public here.
I was in a local park playing Pokemon Go when I'm forgetting it because I can't remember any of the Pokemon names. A rare Pokemon appeared, and what happened in that game is that like it was sort of geolocated, so it would show up for one person, and then they would capture it. They go, "Oh my gosh, I got a thing," and it would start showing up on other people's phones to capture as well. So I got to see this wave of people seeing this, going to their phones, trying to say, "Oh my gosh, it's over," and capturing this Pokemon that didn't exist. But they're all just realizing, oh my gosh, here's my one chance to get this Pokemon, because it just happened to spawn at this park at this moment.
Meanwhile, there's cars like crashing into trees, people falling off of bridges. I almost had it! Like, what the hell's happening?
But it was just so weird realizing how brilliant that game was.
Yeah.
To have those moments to realize, oh, well, maybe I should be out in the park at 8 p.m., on a Tuesday to possibly think I was going to show up there. Like, jeez, well done.
There's a rare Pokemon at the Pokemon store at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Pokemon store. Okay, what other time is a slow time of the week? Sunday afternoon. Make a rare happen on Sunday. I see.
But, and all things to Magic the Gathering.
Oh, wow.
Good on them for release starting that. 1993, I believe, was the general release of Magic the Gathering, August 5th, 1993.
Boy, I wish I'd invested in that.
Boy.
And meanwhile, it will continue forever because my niece is neck deep in that.
Okay. So I'm just reading the Wikipedia article. General release August 5th, 1993. They printed 10 million cards in their first print run. They were sold out by October.
Oh.
2 months.
Damn. What funding were they getting to run 10 million in the first run?
Jesus.
Like, I would have thought you would have said something like, Gary Gygax with he ran like 20 copies. I was like, hey, here's D&D. And then things took off from there.
Actually, you know what launched this game? Gen Con.
I was about to say Gen Con had to have a piece in this. But...
He planned to premiere at Gen Con. Showed up with it. Wasn't ready. Showed at Origins Game Fair, hoping to secure funds by demonstrating the game. Showed it to various folks. War Games West was interested, and he got to $40,000 to put in the initial orders. General release in August. After doing the orders, Atkinson and his wife drove towards Milwaukee while making stops at game stores to demonstrate the game and show support for Gen Con. Word of mouth spread. Atkinson at Gen Con, where the shipment of 2.5 million cards has been delayed by a day. Despite this, they sold out by the end of the convention. Wizards of the Coast. Wizards was reluctant to advertise the game because they couldn't keep up with demand, despite having zero advertising.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Nerds will talk. They'll talk a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely, apparently. Jeez. By April of 1997, so 4 years later, they sold their 2 billionth card.
Billions. Oh,
Billions.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Huh.
Between 2008
respectable.
Between 2008 and 2016, I know we're getting way off topic. They printed just during those 8 years 20 billion cards.
Good Lord.
Yeah, did pretty well.
Which they've gotten tremendous support from governments because the carbon offset, by felling all those trees, they're locking up all that wood in those cards. So they're carbon secured in card format.
There we are. Well, and that actually does cycle back because there was a legal dispute between Wizards of the Coast and Nintendo alleging trade secrets that were leaked in the creation of the Pokemon trading card game.
Oh wow!
So a lot of court. No one knows all the details, but interesting.
Interesting.
Yes.
In the year 25,000, those details will be released from court records. Oh, very good.
That's all the history for this week. We'll be back next week with more history. All right. Whoops. That's not. There we go. What's the thing?
Aha.
I had a quick thing. Well, I have a question for you all. What did we learn
on the show tonight, Brent?
I learned we can get better at that every single week. I learned that everything old is new again.
Yeah.
You know, getting a freaking Rosa Versailles film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned that I actually literally learned that One Piece might like become the next new thing.
Yeah.
Like we might actually get like a Demon Slayer situation in our hands here with that. Like the One Piece might actually like start making records. I did not see that coming.
Well, it'll keep feeding in on itself, certainly, because the more people that they learn about the One Piece film, the more they'll want to go back and actually try to tackle 1,000 episodes, which will invest more people in getting more One Piece. Yeah, it'll go on forever.
Draft your One Piece books now. Right?
Yeah.
Like, all the One Piece fans who want to like do your analysis or your whatever book, like get started now, get those books out soon, because you know your guide to One Piece is going to be in high demand.
Oh, the One Piece card game. Who can I invest in? Who's doing this? Who's doing this right now? I have $10 American to invest. I will be glad to partake in 50% of your company.
No.
One Piece card game. Dang it. Steve, how about you?
I have learned. What have I learned? I've learned that sometimes falling down hurts. No.
Sometimes
I have learned that it's probably a good thing that the cute lady who gives me food doesn't leave more often, because I'll probably just be stuck on my sofa watching all the anime. I've learned that, and I've already known this, but I keep relearning it with every watch. 8th MS8 team is complex, has interesting thoughts behind it, and is just much like the original series. After a while, you're just like, can you please stop hitting me in the stomach? Just please, for the love of all that's holy, stop. And the last thing that I've learned, no, two more things. One of the things I've learned is that I wish it could happen, but it will never happen with my pocket game of Life of Sentient Chairs. Will never go as successfully as Pokemon. So I am resigned to that.
Oh, I would say history has shown us that that's not necessarily the truth, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, you can play a pocket game of it's actually ready to go, but I just never went anywhere with it. Life
20 more years. It'll be, hey, it's the 20th anniversary of
exactly,
and I'll probably be doing the big dirt nap by that point. And the
dirt, it's dirty. Sleep on a couch. Come on.
I'll die on the couch and I'll isekai.
Hey,
I'll isekai to the Rose of Versailles.
You'll isekai back to 10-year-old you, and you have to do it right so you avoid the death flag. Ah, damn it.
10-year-old me. Oh, okay.
Wow, that time I was a longshoreman? What? I was a
not entirely inaccurate on that.
Wow.
It was an interesting time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. The last thing that I learned is that even though I will not require nor would I desire a statuette or a figurine of this particular character, I still think she's completely adorable and makes the series work, which is Anya of Spy Family. Yep. How about you, John?
I have Yor on order somewhere. See,
now that's different.
Yes.
I got a Q Pochi of Yor on some like pre-order. I should probably figure out where the hell that is. At some point in time, it'll show up. Yeah. I learned that a sausage Sailor Moon burger is a weird fertility symbol. But damn it, I want one, and there will be no possibility of me having one unless
I was gonna say ship it.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking, unless some very kind billionaire would like to express courier one of those
Yeah.
to me from somewhere across the other side of the planet. But other than that, if I could have one, I would wear my Gege no Kitaro boxers
Mm.
while eating it in an
Oh,
yes.
homage to David Hasselhoff. Just everywhere. Possibly to the soundtrack of the Attack on Titan musical.
Okay. All right.
I think those are things that I've learned about and things that I can't unlearn now.
I'm sorry, it's just a horrific image of you on the floor eating this sandwich, drunk.
With Attack on Titan, tap dancing naked behind me. Oh, this is awesome.
And clad nothing but gay guitar.
Boxer shorts. Oh, baby.
You're just saying, I'm sexy.
Do you like what you see? It's more of a darling. Oh, boy.
I think we broke Brent.
So I've learned many things, horrifying, deep, dark things that I should probably never speak of again. Brent, what did you learn other than truly disturbing truths? This is what happened when shock and awe works.
I said my things. There's nothing else for me to say. I can't think of anything. It's. Have a good night. Joy.
Goodbye.
Yes. Watch more anime.
Have a fertility burger.
Fertility burgers.
Get out of my head.
Oh,